For summer, whether you're hitting the trails, hitting the water, or hitting the golf ball, we have everything you need for the perfect picnic, the greatest grill out, and the best beach vacation. We know that the mountains are calling, the open road awaits, and that pool party is ready to rock. So head on over to Ingles and stock up on all the goodies to get you through your summer of freedom. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Less than a week after his trade to Carolina, Baker Mayfield said he's looking forward to competing for the Panthers' starting quarterback job with Sam Darnold. Also said, like all NFL players, he's not expecting to be a backup and that Darnold has the same mentality. Mayfield added that ultimately, though, he will fill whatever role is expected of him in Carolina. Tiger Woods today blasted the players who bolted for the rival's Saudi-backed LIV Golf Tour. Woods, in his sharpest criticism yet, ripping those who've left the PGA Tour.
To play there, I disagree with it. I think that what they've done is they've turned their back on what has allowed them to get to this position. What these players are doing for guaranteed money, what is the incentive to practice? What is the incentive to go out there and earn it in the dirt?
Tiger Woods. Rory McIlroy, who has been outspoken in criticizing the rival series, said it would be better for golf if the British Open winner this week was not from LIV. Red Sox lefty Chris Sale slated to make his return from a fracture in his rib cage and make his season debut tonight against the Rays. Boston and Tampa currently occupy 2 of the 3 AL wildcard spots.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Ja Morant thinks he can beat Michael Jordan. Why do people get so crazy about this? MJ has lost at things before. It's possible.
This and more. Wednesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the program. We are in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, as always, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, live or on demand. Podcast always posted each and every day. And, of course, you can take us with you everywhere you go. Now, you can also get us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can get in with us on the chat, and you can also help us decide who won yesterday's daily draft, because apparently
we can't figure it out.
Too close to call.
Well, we haven't done polls. Apparently, a poll is going to be. Yeah, and you say that out loud, like, how did it take you a week to figure that out? Well, it did.
So there's a poll posted on the YouTube stream right now. Who won yesterday's daily draft? 3 o'clock hour, Jeremy and I will embark on another daily draft, and the poll results will decide who gets the first pick, since the social media was so split on my stable of championship-level quarterbacks and his stable of losers.
Yeah. My young guys. I went young. You went the geriatric route.
Let's see. Joe Burrow, loser of the Super Bowl.
24-year-old starter in the Super Bowl.
The only champion you got on your list was Tom Brady, and he's going to be done after 1 year. Building a franchise around him, I don't know. So today's draft pretty much going to be basically the same thing, except we're going to do quarterbacks.
Running backs. We did quarterbacks.
Or excuse me, running backs. Thank you. He's already corrected me. Running backs today, because ESPN, the mothership, did their 50 execs poll for the day of running backs in the league. And yes, there's some stupid ones on that one.
Yeah, what's shocked?
As well.
Who's shocked? You've got 50 executives, GMs, scouts, whatever the case may be, and 4 of them have been drinking Miller Lite since about breakfast yesterday.
We will also talk some golf today on the program, because we got the Open Championship taking place at St. Andrews starting on Thursday.
If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can see our DraftKings Open Championship formal contest. You can join in there.
Nice.
Totally free to enter, and we'll get you something nice for the winner.
Awesome. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tiger Woods and his comments about the Tour 54.
I'm going to do my best to not say obscenities.
Indeed.
Because I want to really, really, really bad.
Training camp previews continue with the Los Angeles Chargers and the Washington Commanders today on the program, as well as all the running backs talk. And, at 4 o'clock, we've got a special guest coming on the program with us.
Jeremy doesn't get to go fanboy very often. This is one time I am going to go 100% fanboy.
Mike Westhoff. If that name doesn't sound familiar to you, then you need to do some more research on football.
Greatest special teams coach that ever lived. Also, 12-year member of my New York Jets coaching staff, and was a coach for us the last time that I was happy to be a Jets fan.
Mike Westhoff's got a new book that's coming out called Figure It Out, My 32-Year Journey While Revolutionizing Pro Football's Special Teams. And yes, I will ask him the question we all want to know. Why so many words in the title? You don't need so many words in the title of the book.
No, they're all needed. They're all needed.
They're all needed.
The thing that's irritated me is that so the book comes out today.
Okay.
It is officially out.
Okay,
You can buy
all
it wherever books are sold. And the thing that has annoyed me is in his press junket, they've called him one of the best special teams coaches ever. No. You added too many words there. The best special teams coach that has ever lived. Will be joining us here at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Rich Bisaccia is number 2 on the list,
Rich
right?
Bisaccia, nope. Got a lot of years to catch up, my friend.
We'll talk to Mike Westhoff on the program coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Top of the 5 o'clock hour again will be today's daily draft. Vote in the poll on who won yesterday's daily draft so we can decide who gets the number 1 pick in today's daily draft.
And hopefully the running backs will make our Panther fan friends feel a lot better about the fact of Jeremy was right. I tried to tell you.
What?
That Baker Mayfield will not be handed the starting job to this team.
Oh, absolutely not. We'll talk about that as well coming up later on in the program. Scott Fitterer did a press conference today where apparently he was asked the question.
And he might have dude on it, depending on what kind of where you lie on this.
Are you guys talking about a contract extension with Baker Mayfield?
I really want to know who
exactly
felt the urge to say, are we going to extend Baker?
Because there's so many people who are they are over their skis on this Baker Mayfield thing of he's coming in and now he's the franchise guy. Stop that. You are the Carolina Panthers. You do not have a franchise quarterback right now.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. The only thing that you can do, the worst thing you could possibly do is try to decide a franchise quarterback right now with whoever you have in the room.
I've always said that finding your answer at quarterback is a lot like trying to untie a knot. The more you finagle it, the worse it gets.
Right.
And the harder to untangle it becomes.
Right. Before we get too much deeper into the program and the content here, we have already been asked for it. Devin Joba with the super chat in the comments. He said, "Can I get a woo?" 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
We're going to have a Ric Flair button come Thursday. We're off tomorrow. We're preempted by the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
We will have a Ric Flair button.
Speaking of Devin Joba, made me a very happy man today. I took receipt of the 2017 Rogue from Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. It's got all the buttons. I'm so excited.
You know what I liked? When you pulled in the parking lot today, I didn't hear you coming from Patton Avenue.
That is a plus. Nobody can hear me coming anymore. Well, I mean, if you were standing outside, you still would have heard me coming because I was had the windows down, blaring the Standales, a little dirty water to start out the day.
Do you just enjoy the fact that you have a radio now?
I had a radio before.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I had a radio. I had speakers. I had a
It
CD
didn't work.
player. I had a tape player.
Now you have none of those things.
Now
you have Bluetooth.
Now I have it's got a CD player in it. I don't know that I'll ever use it now that my phone will connect to my speakers and I get to play the iHeartRadio app everywhere I go, just like you can with this here program each and every day. Now, so yes, thank you to Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville for helping me get into a very safe, very reliable, and much more technological vehicle than I have been driving for the last 15 years. So tomorrow, programming note, we will not have a program because the Atlanta Braves will be playing afternoon baseball, so you get to enjoy the Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN Asheville. And I've already told Jeremy I'm just going to spend the whole afternoon driving around because I love to drive, unlike Jeremy.
I feel like there will be a time tomorrow where I get a phone call of, "Hey, I'm at the bar below your house." Why? Because it was in the path of driving around, which is all you want to do.
Yeah, because I've already driven to Johnson City, and there was nothing to do there, so I just came back here.
There was a good period of time where I thought I was going to be doing the show by myself today.
Right. One of the first things that we did when we got into the new car was call Jeremy on the phone and gloat about how much better my car is than his car now.
Give it time.
Yeah. Now the pressure's on.
Well, you have incited me now. You cannot have the nicer car of the two of us. This has happened for one day, and I'm already getting hives just thinking about the fact that Tank Spencer drives a nicer car than I do.
And when it happens, when that day comes, the one place he's going to go, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, just as you should, 629 Brevard Road. All right, running backs in the NFL. This top 10 list from the 50 anonymous execs who weighed in around the NFL, and
I want to know which one's legally drunk, because there's one that's legally drunk. If you don't know what we're talking about, on ESPN.com every day they have been doing position breakdowns, their GM, scouts, executives in the league, completely anonymous. They will tell you the highest that a player was ranked on any of the list, the lowest they were ranked, and then they rank them in order based on the averages. Yesterday we did quarterbacks. Today it's running backs, and we will keep doing this until training camps kick off because, well, this is July, and we're not talking about baseball.
Right.
That's what we have Caleb for on Thursdays.
Yes.
And there's something about this I don't fully understand. Derrick Henry is number one.
Yes.
I don't get it.
You don't get why he's number one?
I don't get it. I do not for the life of me understand how a consensus has him at one.
Okay.
Not because he's not a great player. He is a great player. He's a great running back. Unfortunately, he doesn't do half of what running backs do.
Now, half of what modern running backs do. He does everything a traditional running back should do. Like, you think of, like, old school kick-ass running backs in this league. Guys, you know, going back to Jim Brown and Bo Jackson, and those were the running back. The power backs were the ones that really got me going as a kid.
And he's very much a throwback to that. The only problem is that in this modern-day NFL, you need somebody that can catch in space and take off. And there is a running back that does that.
Yep.
He hasn't been asked to do it as much as I think he will be in time. How in the world do you have him ahead of Jonathan Taylor?
Longevity, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, he's been around. He's been doing it for longer, which, I mean, it's been 4 seasons. Like,
and I'm not trying to shade Derrick Henry here. I'm really not. But when I scrolled down and saw the one next to his name, I went, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering, well, you know, I was right last year of if you keep running a guy into the dirt, Father Time is undefeated. And I look at Derrick Henry and just go, he's not my one by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Well, Derrick Henry is number 1 on the consensus list here from ESPN, and he is the most terrifying running back in the league. And when I say terrifying, I mean, like, you catch up in midfield, you're one-on-one, I'm probably going to poo my pants. Jonathan Taylor, I might have a shot to take him down if I can catch him. That's the problem.
Not even kind of a shot. Are you talking about you or metaphorical you?
I'm saying the metaphorical you. Like, any linebacker meets up one-on-one with him, you go, yeah, I got a shot to take him down.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines would run through you like a pallet of watermelons. So I just want to make sure we were talking about a metaphorical you.
Yes, we are. On the other hand, I don't care what linebacker it is. I mean, aside from Khalil Mack, maybe, you get a head-on shot with Derrick Henry, you may not survive the next play.
And I understand all of that. My problem is that it's too easy to mitigate him with game script. If Tennessee gets behind, I'm not saying he becomes irrelevant.
He doesn't.
But he loses his superpowers. He's much less Superman, much more Clark Kent.
Right.
Okay, it's a cute look with the glasses, and I'm sure you can really hurt somebody's feelings with an article, but you're not Superman anymore. And there are a handful of guys in this league that are. Mm-hmm. And I feel like several of them really got shaded, including one that plays a little close to here.
Yep. All right, Derrick Henry, number 1 on the list. Who else made the list? We'll continue the discussion up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
You can get a smile that makes everyone do a double take. Wow. Without taking all the money out of your bank account, just go to Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Byte Invisible Aligners are the affordable way to get the smile you've always wanted. Byte costs thousands less than traditional braces, with treatments that start as low as $82 a month. Order your at-home impression kit today from Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Be confident. Be you with Byte.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone, adults, teens, millennials, but it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
You deserve to feel proud of your smile. August 11th is National Align Your Teeth Day, and to celebrate, Asheville Smiles is hosting an Invisalign Day and offering the best price on Invisalign in North Carolina. Dr. Merrill is a master of the smile makeover. They'll provide you with a simulated 3D scan to show you how you'll look after Invisalign treatment. Now is the best time to save big and get that smile you've always wanted. To schedule your consultation, visit AshevilleSmiles.com today.
Where did I put that?
Pete's property manager just took an extended vacation. He needs a replacement before this becomes a cruel summer.
Oh, you wanted the lakefront for the 17th? How did this get double booked already?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runners, you're cleared for takeoff from Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeart Media, Asheville. The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. We're talking running backs in the NFL. This top 10 list from ESPN. The 50 execs polls continue to roll out here. They've been doing all the position groups. They started with edge rushers back on July the 5th. We just picked it up yesterday doing the quarterbacks. We'll go back and do the retrospective on all the other ones because somebody's already said in the YouTube comments we're really going to be ticked off about the corners.
That was Tyler Cunningham.
So, yeah, we'll do the retrospective on the other list at later dates as we continue to roll on with this. But today's groundbreaking list was the running backs. Derrick Henry at number 1. Jeremy's got a big problem with it. I don't necessarily
It's not that I have a huge problem with it. I just don't get it. I don't understand the rationale. Jonathan Taylor just had one of the best seasons we've seen a running back have in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying Derrick Henry hasn't. You've just also seen with Derrick Henry, I feel like we maybe it's just the turn. Maybe this is where you get a sandwich and head to the 10th tee, but you're on the back 9.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you how far down it you are, but when injuries start with running backs, it's kind of like Tank's car. When it started making the metallic sound, well, that's a death trap, and it's not going to end well.
Right. At number 2, Jonathan Taylor, no qualms there. I mean, maybe a bit of a qualm. He could have been number 1.
Should have been
number 1. Number 3 is Nick Chubb.
Stop talking. At the end of message, stop talking.
Oh, Sir Nicholas Chubbington. Obviously, as a Georgia fan, love Nick Chubb, and it's great. I mean, but he, again, is another traditional back. He is the power back. It's the way that's supposed to work, that whole tandem in Cleveland is he's the power back. Kareem Hunt is the do-everything back. Now, can Nick catch? Yes. Does Nick catch a lot? No. Because he's got a lot of that Derrick Henry in him.
Well, and he's a decent enough receiving back. That was the first name that I saw and went, wow. 3 is a weird way to spell 8, and I don't.
Oh, I disagree on the 8 part. I mean, he's top 5.
And here's the thing. We discussed this before the show. I'm not sure you disagree with that as much as you think you do.
Okay, maybe I don't. I say that a lot. Of like, he's top 5. And then you could rattle off 5 guys that go, okay, so he's 6.
And I'm not trying to slight the guy. I'm just saying you have one of the best offensive lines in football. You have a backfield mate in Kareem Hunt that takes a lot of pressure off of you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like some of these other guys have that luxury. And so to me, I was dumbfounded at how high he was. I was dumbfounded that somebody had him at 1. Yeah, that person needs to be checked for recreational drugs because that's the only way that could be logically explained to me.
Yeah, his highest ranking was number 1. Lowest ranking was 7.
You have him ahead of Jonathan Taylor. You and Gary Busey and Charlie Sheen have been hanging out with each other too much.
Also, with a top spot of 1 in somebody's, probably a few somebody's lists, was Dalvin Cook. He's just the guy just the guy that won't die.
I love Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. He would have probably been higher on my list than a lot of these other guys just because I think he's so dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget, as their careers unwind, I will never forget the day you looked at me and said, James Cook is nothing like his brother. And I went, well, he kind of is. You just didn't see it at Georgia because he had Zamir White. I think you're going to see it in the NFL.
And we may. I don't, Is he elusive like his brother? Sure. Can he catch like his brother? Yeah. In fact, I think he might be better at catching than his brother is. I just don't know that I could see James Cook being at that level.
I think he's very, very talented.
At the Dalvin Cook level in the NFL, although I have said since he got drafted by the Buffalo Bills that I think he's going to take over that starting job very, very soon. But Dalvin Cook at number 4, not bad. Alvin Kamara coming in at 5, that feels awful low.
It does to me. It does to me. Because if I had been asked this question and I had to do a top 10, the hardest decision of the entire list would have been, do I have Jonathan Taylor 1 or do I have Alvin Kamara 1?
Wow, okay.
Because those would have been the two for me, and I would not really have thought that hard about anybody else.
Really? Dalvin Cook wouldn't have got your...
He would have been he would probably have been my 3, and then I had Derrick Henry at 4.
Okay.
I can't have you over those 3 because they can do everything. They are all 3 satellite players that all I have to do is get you the ball in space. You cannot mitigate me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, not a shot at Derrick Henry. Just, okay, these other guys understood the assignment as it was presented.
Then the rest of the list goes Joe Mixon at 6, Christian McCaffrey at 7, 8 is Najee Harris, number 9, Aaron Jones, which is low to me.
It's low, but I don't know who you're supposed to have in front of. Love Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
100% love Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
But I don't know who you're supposed to have in front of.
That's a good point.
Great player, but he also there's a lot of A.J. Dillon, who I'm going to level. I think 2 years from now, you might be talking to him on this list.
Possibly. But again, that's a do-it-all-back, power-back situation there as well. It's just flipped from Cleveland where Nick gets all of the accolades. Well, it's not the power back that gets the accolades in Green Bay. And then at number 10, Javonte Williams. There is one name that was not mentioned in that top 10 that is completely baffling to me. And he plays for a team that we're going to talk about later on in the show when we do our pre-training camp previews. The Los Angeles Chargers, Austin Eckler. He is right in the line with Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones and all the other do-it-all backs in the league. How does he not get the props, I guess?
I don't in any way agree with it. But here's what I almost guarantee you these talent evaluators would say to you. How many times has Austin Eckler run for 1,000 yards in a season?
Probably none.
It's 0. That would be the argument. Now, do I think that argument's stupid? Absolutely, yes, I do, because he almost received for 1,000 yards 2 years ago.
Right.
And he's very do-it-all, and he's very Swiss Army knife. He would have been my 6. I went through and did this myself, and he would have been my 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I do at least understand it. Having him behind Javonte Williams, that's a lot of projection that I'm not sure I can get behind.
Right.
But I at least vaguely understand it.
And then we had honorable mentions, others receiving votes.
The honorable mentions are stupid.
Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley.
Do you just have to mention them because it's a running back topic?
Yes.
Do you really feel like those are 2 of the biggest names and you go, well, we have to get them in the story somewhere?
Yes.
Because that would not have been my honorable mentions.
Because it's going to get clicks, and if you don't put them on there, you're going to hear from Cowboys and Giants fans.
They would not have been my honorable mentions.
You got Josh.
Because I don't think either one of them's a top 15 running back in this league. Saquon has a shot. Ezekiel Elliott, you are done like last night's dinner. You are a leftover meatloaf. There is not enough water, ketchup, and Worcestershire sauce that you can pour on this to salvage it.
That feels awful reachy for you to say that. I mean, what, he still almost ran for 1,000 yards last year, didn't he?
Woo. You know how you run for 1,000 yards in the NFL? Play 17 games and be legally alive. Get the lion's share of carries in your offense.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Would you take Ezekiel Elliott right now over DeAndre Swift?
No. Not a chance.
And he's not even mentioned.
Not a chance.
He's not even mentioned. It's like, well, Dad, he plays for the Lions. Who cares?
Right.
I'll go one step further. Would you take Ezekiel Elliott over David Montgomery right now?
No.
The answer's no, and I know the answer to it. There's a reason I asked it.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't take him over A.J. Dillon.
No.
Because that's just where I think he's at. He's a broken toy. He's a running back that got run into the ground, and now it's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. That's the problem I have with Saquon Barkley. His is not that he has it's not the tread on the tires. I know what the talent is. You're in a god-awful situation. You're in the Bermuda Triangle of NFL talent. And it's not getting any better. Mm-hmm. At least not right now. And by the time it does get better, what do you look like? You've already had injury-riddled seasons, so you can project this until Kingdom Come. It doesn't change the fact that you're in a terrible situation. Would you take Ezekiel Elliott over Cam Akers right now?
No.
That's kind of the point I was trying to make. It sounds ridiculous to say until you actually put the rubber to the road and go, this is what 15 running backs in the NFL looks like.
Yeah. You're not wrong. It just sounds weird to hear it because he's a guy that I believed in so much. And I thought he was going to be as good in the NFL as he was in college. And he was, I think, for a season. And then
you talking about Zeke or Saquon here?
And then he got hurt and he yo-yoed with the health as far as, being overweight and being in shape and all of that. And now over time, he's been in the league, 7 years?
He came in with Jalen Reed, so this will be 7 years.
Yeah. So he's been in the league 7 years, and I feel like the last 3 years has been the transition out of fading. I don't know that he's irrelevant, which is how is how you made it sound. I'm not saying that's what you said.
I'm not saying he's irrelevant. He's the number one running back in this league. He's just not an overly good one. He's a name.
Right.
And this is one of the things that people fall into with running backs. It's the reason I routinely say there is no shot I would ever give a running back second contract unless it's Jonathan Taylor.
Others receiving votes for the top 10 were Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, and Antonio Gibson. I have no qualms with any of those.
I have a problem with Miles Sanders.
You do?
He's more name than he is substance. Can he be that good? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can he stay healthy for 15 minutes?
Let's hope.
I hope. Until he sees it, until I see him do it, I can't really say that.
Right.
In our YouTube comments, Bill Bouticek, who is becoming one of my favorite commenters, said, but what about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and James Conner? Good for you.
Nice
Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be discussed if this was a top 100. If they added a 0 onto the end of it, then we could talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Panera. They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did that and more with their new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Pan-seared chicken, a secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickled chips all on a buttery brioche roll. Try one for only a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
You do not want to miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpets, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts all 15% off. Use promo code Summer Sale at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity, but for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt, but because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. This is the time where we, talk about things just a bit outside the sports landscape. And, this is technically a sport, but it's not one that we really follow. The Tour de France is going on. The big bicycle race over there in France.
I like how you called it the big bicycle race.
It is. I mean, it's a bicycle race.
Tell me you don't care about something without telling me.
Yeah.
I didn't say you were wrong.
Okay,
I just
thank
said
you. I was like, am I getting ready to get some kind of an I'm mad, an impromptu
No.
I'm mad about me dissing the bicycle race?
Let me. I'm going to tell you a way that if I'm ever being held captive, if I ever really object to you calling the Tour de France a bicycle race, I'm being held against my will. You should send help immediately.
Sports freak Brian Hall just threw something at his radio in his
Probably.
office. I know he did.
Yeah, probably.
He's big into the cycling thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's one of those things that happens every summer, and it's like the only time we ever paid attention to it was when Lance Armstrong was winning 7 of them, and then that all came crashing down. But anyway, stage 10 of the Tour de France was today, and it had to be paused for 12 minutes. They had to stop because there was a small group of protesters who got out into the road to protest something. And it was so important that they protested climate change during the bicycle race.
And how did they do that?
They got out into the middle of the road and they lit road flares. So wait, let me get this right. So you are protesting climate change. We're bringing awareness to climate change during probably the most environmentally friendly sporting event in the history of time. And then you're going to light road flares that put out noxious gases into the atmosphere. That doesn't seem, that's about, it is about as effective as trying to superglue yourself to an NBA floor to protest chickens. Stop
if you're
it.
going to protest something, at least make it make sense.
Right.
I will never understand.
Like, I would love to see a group of these protesters. They're so dead against the, climate change and we got to change the world. I want to see a group of y'all try to go down to Talladega and stop a NASCAR race in the middle of it.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
that would be on the news. That would not go well.
100%.
That would not go well.
Well, I'm just saying.
Sports Thank ESPN.
I'm just saying, if you're going to protest at a sporting event for climate change, you probably want to make it something that's not conducive to the atmosphere.
In theory.
That's my I'm mad for the day, I guess. Jeez.
Somehow I'm going to tell a story about the love life of a New York athlete for the second day in a row. Yesterday, this is my quarterback, Zach Wilson.
Right.
Today, it's about number 2, Derek Jeter.
Okay.
There has long been we'll call it a rumor, that maybe Mr. Jeter in his love life may have been a little over the top. And maybe sometimes when he met somebody, things would happen. The next day there would be a car waiting, and there were signed memorabilia from Derek Jeter in the car. Well, now there is a documentary called The Captain. It premieres on July 18th, and he has finally put this to bed. His quote, "Yeah, I read the article."
No pun intended, right?
I didn't even do that on purpose. He said, "Yeah, I read the article. Yes, of course. You know, you see it, and then you're like, how the blank did people come up with this?" You know, basically that's it. And who would believe this? And you believed it.
We all did.
He then told a story of, I remember being at a Starbucks, and some random guy behind me says, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm giving out gift baskets because you did."
Nice.
And I turned around and said, "You're a blanking idiot." And the look on his face, like, did he think I was going to say, "Yeah, good job"? I have hated Derek Jeter for the vast majority of my adult life. That one response was probably enough for me to go, all right, I'm in. I'm in. And that made my brain go to a different place because I'm a different guy. I want to know, what does random guy at Starbucks give in their, "Hey, last night was fun" gift bag? Is that a $5 Starbucks gift card?
Probably.
Who thinks that's a good idea?
Probably.
You're not Derek Jeter. Even if he did it, which he claims he didn't.
I'm giving out gift baskets.
I said, I want to meet that guy and just yell right in his face. Be happy that somebody can put up with your company for more than 9 consecutive seconds, because that is the gift.
Maybe that should be the 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. What would you put in the gift basket?
Or you could just say it in the YouTube comments, which I'm totally in favor of too.
What goes in the gift basket for your special one-night lovers?
I can't. None of my answers can be said on this show.
No, I mean, never mind.
No good can come of it.
Yeah, this has got to be like a reprehensibles episode or something
absolutely.
like that. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, well, you know, I'm kind of upset now because I thought the legend was true.
I'm not dead convinced that it's not.
It probably is.
You could 100% see Derek Jeter just being like,
absolutely.
It takes a shower, goes to the stadium, and there's a car waiting with a basket.
Because he's a nice guy. Because, you know, he's a nice guy and wants to make sure that you're set up. You know,
everything's good.
It's fine.
Thanks.
It's fine. Tip of the cap to you, Cap.
Don't call me. I'll call you. You know? But I don't have your phone number. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there you go.
And look, who wouldn't have believed it anyway? I mean, once you've been with Madonna, anything is on the table, right?
I thought that was A-Rod.
I thought that.
That's A-Rod.
I thought it was Jeter. No, Jeter was with Mariah Carey. Okay.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
Is there?
100%.
Is there, though?
Derek Jeter is the only person I've ever seen that they took a baseball diamond and created a starting lineup of attractive women that he had dated.
I don't keep up that much with all of the different people that stars date and such, but you always I felt like you always knew at the time who Derek Jeter was dating, who A-Rod was dating. It's the new celebrity couples.
Derek Jeter now in retirement, I cannot hate him, and I'm okay with that.
I never hated Derek Jeter.
I feel like now Derek Jeter and I could be friends. We're very different.
Right.
I'm like he's like the city mouse and I'm the country mouse, and I'm okay with that.
Derek Jeter was always like Tom Brady to me. He was a guy that I always just admired the way that they went about the game.
I did too, and it had absolutely nothing to do with baseball.
Of course not. It had to do with the gift baskets and the laundry list. That's another thing. Like guys, you know, we do this thing. You've got like your all-time top 5. What do you think Derek Jeter's would look like? Like, been there, done that? Is that his top 5?
Joan of Arc.
He's gonna start going with people from history.
By the way, if you've ever needed a reason to be in our YouTube comments, the answers to this question are enough. most of which I cannot say out loud.
All I can say is points for Raiders season. It's very good.
Yeah, I feel like the people that listen to this show are like the people that used to come watch me do stand-up, and they would make funny faces at me trying to get me to screw up on stage. That's how I feel the House of Reprehensibles are for this show.
Yeah. The top 10 the top 10 running backs list from the unnamed executives across the NFL, it left something to be desired. Y'all know me, my little boyfriend up in Washington, Antonio Gibson, the fact that he wasn't in the top 10 somewhere, or at least
and honestly,
in an honorable mention.
Well, and honestly, he shouldn't be.
You don't think so?
He's never had the lion's share of that backfield. I get that one. Here's the one I don't get. If you're not going to penalize Derrick Henry for being hurt last year, why are you penalizing Christian McCaffrey for being hurt for the last 2 years? That doesn't make any sense to me. You can do one, or you can do both, or you can do neither. You can't do one. At the end of the day, and this is not me being a Panthers homer, I feel like of all people that are in this market, I am probably the most realistic when it comes to this team. If you look at every running back in this league, and you don't look at Christian McCaffrey and go, he's a top 5 running back if he's healthy. And I feel like that's what this list is assuming. It is assuming health.
Yes, I would say so.
Then you've got him too low. 7's stupid.
I agree.
7's stupid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah, we've seen the talent. We know what he can do on the field. And I don't care if you don't like the Carolina Panthers, if you don't like the fact that their running back or their quarterback situation, you don't like their offensive line.
That makes it even more so to me. You've never had a quarterback that could play dead in a Western. And the last full season you played, you had 1,000 yards receiving and 1,300 yards rushing.
Yep.
What do you think he would do in Tennessee? What do you think he would do in Minnesota where he's got Justin Jefferson? That was my biggest takeaway. I got to that part and went, no, you can have Derrick Henry at 1, but you better have Christian McCaffrey in the top 4. Or you're going to have to penalize one for what you're penalizing the other for.
Well, the only difference to me is, that whole thing of 1's an anomaly, 2 becomes a trend. The fact that we've seen him be hurt for the last 2 years and only play 10 games in that stretch, I feel like you have to take that into account. Derrick Henry, that was a one-off. He was back before the playoffs, or he was back by the playoffs and was able to,
And you think that's just going to go away? Running back that's 40 pounds heavier than every other running back in the league? You think it's just going to bleed off into the ether?
I'm not saying it's going to go away, but it could be an anomaly. It could be.
I don't really believe in anomalies. I don't. Not with very large running backs that are – who's the greatest big running back of all time? And when I say big, I mean over 250 pounds.
Jerome Bettis.
I'm going to disagree with you, but I can go with that one.
That's the first one that came to mind.
Christian Okoye was the first one that came to my mind. And guess what?
It was a short period of time.
There you go. That was my point. He wasn't here for a long time. He was here for a good time.
Right.
And in that short window, he was phenomenal.
Oh, the Nigerian Nightmare was crazy.
And I have always drawn a direct comparison between the two.
Right.
Running backs of that size, you're not going to be here for that long. You're just not. If you can name me one, feel free. Jerome Bettis, here's the thing. He was a rotational piece for the vast majority of his career.
Yes.
He was very rarely the guy. And that was wise. It's wise to use a running back that way. My problem is that I can't see a path where if you're just putting your fingers in your ears with injuries, which you would have to be to have Henry at 1, I can't see how you have Christian McCaffrey below 4. Because to me, there is no argument where you say one is more conducive to their team than the other. I can agree with equal. Derrick Henry's better between the tackles. Christian McCaffrey's the best running back I've ever seen in space, outside of Barry Sanders.
We can all agree Christian McCaffrey at 7 is too low. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, we'll talk about the Los Angeles Chargers. Don't forget, stick with us at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Westhoff, the greatest special teams coach in the history of the NFL. According to Jeremy Greene, he'll be joining us.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Grab your golf clubs and head out to Kenmure Country Club for the 2022 Mike Tweed Memorial Rocket Open. It's on Monday, July 25th with a 12:30 shotgun start. Your team entry includes 2 mulligans per player, a long drive contest, closest to the pin, and a par 3 challenge. Box lunches provided as well. To get registered, email BigJoeGreen7@gmail.com. That's Big Joe Green with an E, 7@gmail.com. Or call 828-243-8076. And get ready for a great day on the links with the Reynolds Rockets.
Research shows listeners don't like it when ads interrupt their music. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, we made this ad optional. If you want to skip this ad, remove your left earphone. Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
If you're missing this informative ad, you must love wasting your cash.
It's the easy and smart way to save.
Now it's all been said, so if that earphone was out, put it back in your head.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And in training camps, they're almost here. The dog days of summer are almost over. And to celebrate, we continue to do previews of each and every NFL team. Running up to the start of training camp, the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, admittedly, last year I was too soon. Trying to put the Los Angeles Chargers at the with the top tier, the contender tier of the NFL. But it's hard to say that they aren't capable of making the leap into the contender tier this year with the moves that they've made in the offseason and the experience that they've gained in the last 2 seasons.
What gamblers like me do is we try to find anomalies in lines. We try to find anomalies in what are we seeing that you're not seeing. If you told me there was a team like that, and there's not a team like that every year. If you told me there's a team like that in the NFL right now, it's the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Name their deficiency. The line's fantastic.
Linebacker.
Is it, though?
I mean, with Kenneth Murray, I still like him, but I would say that's the weakest part of their defense, weakest part of their team.
And it's not even really a weakness. It's a grasping at straws trying to find something that they don't do immaculately well.
Yes.
They have a phenomenal front three in a 3-4 defense.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Tranquill, linebacker that you were just saying that was their weakness, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
Okay.
Then you get into the secondary and go, do you realize that their 3 starters I would put them against anybody in the NFL. J.C. Jackson is your 1, Asante Samuel Jr. as your 2, and then Bryce Callahan in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I still haven't even mentioned that you have Derwin James in the back.
Right.
That's as terrifying of a defense as you will ever see. And that's without even pointing out you have one of the most terrifying young quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a slew of running backs. I can't tell you have one that's going to be that between the tackles thumper, but you have enough of them. If you told me it was some combination of Isaiah Spiller, Josh Kelly, Larry Roundtree, and those guys split something in the neighborhood of 17 carries a game, and Austin Eckler is allowed to just be that chess piece, nobody else in the league has that. He is Christian McCaffrey level impactful, and he doesn't have to carry the water as the between-the-tackles runner.
Yes.
That's always been my drawback on McCaffrey. So what exactly is it I'm supposed to slight them on? Oh, your number one receiver gets hurt a lot. Okay. I mean, yeah, he does. But when he's on the field, he is tremendously impactful. He's one of the better deep threats in this league. And you still have Keenan Allen, who's one of the most reliable slot players in the league. This is what good drafting teams can do. Do you remember how long the Chargers were just after LaDainian Tomlinson?
Oh, yeah.
And the Phillip Rivers, you could get to a certain point, and then you would regress the next year. And it just kept happening, lather, rinse, repeat.
They were the Indianapolis Colts.
It was because you couldn't draft.
Right.
Tom Telesco has changed that. Rashawn Slater, I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't the only one that said he was a guard, he was a guard, he was a guard. I don't just pull these things out of thin air. I had been told that by a lot of people in this league. And there were a lot of people in this league, when they drafted him, they went, I don't know where you think you're going to play him. If you're thinking it's going to be a left tackle, it's not going to go well. What did he do? He went out and he was an all-pro as a rookie. When you can kill the draft, there is a reason we spend 3 months talking about that every single year. Because it's the lifeblood of a team. And you look how deep this team is, it's unbelievable to me. Because just the starters, I would say there's not two teams in the league that are more talented starting 22 players in the NFL. Would you?
Yeah. I'm yeah, sure.
And here's the part that it means even more to me. From 23 to 53, there's not a better team in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not one player that could go down that you're just devastated. I mean, obviously, Justin Herbert's going to be god-awful if he got abducted by space aliens or whatever the case may be. I could say that about every team in the league. Rashawn Slater would certainly be a headache. Nobody's going to cripple you.
Right.
And I got to say, this is a team I have come to really respect the way they do things. That's a hard market.
Now, second year of Brandon Staley. Let's talk about that. Do you believe that he'll still have some of the edge, but won't hinder his team like he did last year in some of the gambling that he did, going for it on fourth downs in his own territory and late in the game scenarios that didn't pan out?
I don't think he was as big of an impediment as he is made out to be.
Okay.
I really don't. He's a new age, analytical kind of coach that has realized there are certain parts of the field where it is stupid to punt the ball away. It just is. I mean, we're going to have Mike Westhoff on in a few minutes. He's one of the greatest special teams coaches in the history of this league. I have a funny feeling he's going to say verbatim the same thing because it's been mitigated in this sport to such a point of what is the difference of if I don't have a punter that can routinely put you inside the 10, what's the point? I'm at the 45-yard line. You get the ball at the 45, you get it at the 20. The discrepancy between you scoring touchdowns is like 8 percentage points between those two. Now, if you're over the 50, that's a little different. That's where I think he got into some trouble last year. It was that dead zone between your own 35 and the 50. Those are places that you probably shouldn't take those risks unless you feel really good about converting it. But I also think he looked at the defense last year and said, we have some holes on this team. That's why within the first day of free agency, they had gone out and gotten Khalil Mack. So now you have the most terrifying pass rush combo in the league. And he got J.C. Jackson. You tell me the number one receiver that you don't feel like he can lock down as much as anybody in this league. You cured the problems. He doesn't have to be Riverboat Brandon Staley now. Is he still going to do it? Yeah, that's who he is. But it doesn't have to be as drastic as it was.
One of the things that I think I would like to see from the Chargers this year is to put Isaiah Spiller in the backfield and run Austin Eckler out of the slot.
And they're going to do that.
I want to see him be a more featured receiver.
And I think they're going to do that. That was one of the reasons I said they needed to come away from the draft process with one of these between the tackles runners because it opens up Austin Eckler to be what it is that he does so well. I feel like people think I slight him because I don't love him running between the tackles. It's because he's so much better at doing other things. I can generate those touches, but I need somebody in the backfield that allows me to do that.
Good news for the Los Angeles Chargers is they're better than they were last year. Bad news for the Chargers is they are in one of the toughest divisions that I've ever seen in football, with the Las Vegas Raiders who got better, the Denver Broncos who got better, and then there's the Kansas City Chiefs, who are still the Kansas City Chiefs, but they didn't necessarily get better. They might be able to win this division this year. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Sports Center coming up next, and then we'll talk with Mike Westhoff.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Panera. They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did that and more with their new chef's chicken sandwiches. Pan-seared chicken, a secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickled chips all on a buttery brioche roll. Try one for only a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching you? There's actually a simple solution. Download the DuckDuckGo app today. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Baker Mayfield at his introductory news conference in Carolina today admitted being traded by the Browns was unexpected, but he's got no animosity toward the organization. Called the Week 1 game versus Cleveland special. Mayfield also said he's looking forward to competing for the Panthers' starting job with Sam Darnold. Buccaneers tight end Rob Gronkowski today reiterating his retirement is final and he's now focused on business ventures with his family. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting the NBA Board of Governors expected today to approve the play-in tournament as a regular part of future seasons. The tournament is great for the entire league, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
It's able to stop load management. It's able to get better games in the regular season. You know why? Because teams now have to go out there and not take games for granted because they want to fall in that top 6 seed so they don't have to be in the play-in tournament, so they don't have to play extra games to make the playoffs.
Kendrick Perkins on First Take. Red Sox lefty Chris Sale set to make his season debut tonight against the Rays. He's returning from a rib cage fracture.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We're always coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. Yes, I'll tell you more adventures about my new car coming up later on in the program, thanks to Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
But first we have to get to something that I am very excited about.
Jeremy, lifelong Jets fan here, gets to fanboy out for the moment because joining us now on the program, we have Mike Westhoff. He was a longtime special teams coordinator for the New York Jets.
Back when it was, fun to be a Jets fan.
There was a time where it was fun to beat the Jets?
Basically, from the time Mike Westhoff took over as our special teams coordinator until about the time he left. That's when it started going sideways.
All right, Mike Westhoff, he is touted to be, by Jeremy himself, the greatest special teams coordinator in the history of the NFL. He's got a new book out called Figure It Out, My 32-Year Journey While Revolutionizing Pro Football's Special Teams. Mike, we appreciate you joining us on the program here, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Glad to do it.
So first off, I have to ask you, how do you feel? How do you feel about people referring to you as the greatest special teams coordinator of all time?
And one side of me knows that they're correct. And then,
nice.
I'm just that's one of those things that's nebulous. I know I came along at the right time at that part of the business. There really were no coordinators when I started 1982. I helped take it to a particular level that it had never been, and it'll never go back to because of rule changes. So I was part of that kind of explosion. I think I was pretty instrumental in it, to be honest. But there were certainly a number of guys that did a heck of a job, and it was a different time. It's very much different than it is today.
Well, it's so true that special teams is the most forgotten part of the game. It's the phase of the game that we don't focus on. Everybody wants to focus on sacks and stuff on defense and touchdowns and all of that on offense, but special teams gets
not for the 32 years that I did it.
Right.
It was a real equal part of the game because the way the rules were and the number of plays that were played. It was able to maintain a very high level. Now that you've dropped to the number of plays is so different, I'll give you a real quick number. My first 30 years in the National Football League, not counting field goals and PATs, okay, I averaged 22 plays a game. My last 2 years with the New Orleans Saints, 17 and 18, 7. That's it. So, it just is dramatically diminished. And therefore, people don't see it quite the same. Back when I did it, it was really a lot of fun and very much a different phase.
So, Coach, I greatly respect you to be the greatest special teams coordinator in the history of this league. and I have to ask, as the innovator that you were, if you could change one rule in the NFL, there's been so many things that have changed over the last 20 years. If you could change one rule to really emphasize how special teams is, pardon the pun, what would that be?
Well, that's a good one. If I was going to change it today, is that what you're asking?
Correct.
Okay. I would actually, what I would do, and I wrote about this in my book, because they've changed the kickoff so much, it's basically, it's a non-play today. It's pretty much a touchback. That's what it's become. I would kick off with a different ball. I would use a special ball right out of the box and make them kick off with that ball. Rather than landing 7 yards deep in the end zone, the ball that wouldn't constrict as much would probably land on the 3-yard line, and I'd have a play. It would not be the exciting play that I was part of because of the rule changes. I mean, I used the philosophy of offense and defense, and being an offensive line coach, I turned our kickoff return into an off-tackle running play that had all the perimeters, the double team, the trap, the backside wall, you name it. And while my 10 years with the New York Jets, we had 9 different guys that led the NFL in return. So I'll keep that record. You have a tough time getting that one because you don't have any plays. So what I'd like to see them try to do is make it a play. It won't be as good of a play as it once was, but it'll be a play. I also, if I had to make a rule change on a punt, I would not let you probably call them gunners, we call them flyers, the end people on the line, I would not let them line up any wider than 1 yard from the number. I would not let them go out and line up on the sideline. That invites too many penalties, and it takes the play out of the game. I want to put the play back into the game and yet keep a realm of safety.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The realm of safety is the problem. Is that still it's like you said when you were last coaching with New Orleans, you went from having 22 plays a game to 7. There's still analytics that will tell you that the kickoffs and punts are still the most dangerous plays that we have when it comes to concussions and injuries.
That's an interesting. We debated that one time when they did we did our own statistics. I had the coaches do it on each one of our individual teams. We weren't quite on the same page with that statistic, although nonetheless there were a number. But I think today, with the way the rules are and the safety, the way you're not hitting, the helmet to helmet, you're not allowed to trap, all those things. That's the stuff that I was really pretty good at. We would come out of nowhere. You didn't know who was going to hit you, and we were really good at it. Not trying to hurt anybody, just being very physical. Those things are different. So, yeah, you have to keep all that in mind. They've made tremendous strides in being safe. That's why you can see, Tom Brady will play till he's 50 years old. It's not like when Dan Marino, when I was at Miami, they just don't get hit as much. And if a guy's sharp like he is and knows where to go and gets rid of the ball under 3 seconds, and he wants to play till he's 50, he probably will play till he's 50.
I can speak more to your time with the Jets than I remember you in Miami, but I can speak more to your time with the Jets. While you were there, that team had an innate ability to find players through the draft that weren't necessarily special teams aces in college. I'm thinking guys like Leon Washington, who was a good returner at Florida State, but even more Brad Smith, that was a quarterback at Missouri, and wound up doing all kinds of things with the Jets. How much role did you have in selecting those guys, and what was it that you were looking for to identify high-level special teams players?
It's a good question. It's not only good, it's good the way you asked it, because you asked it in two forms. I had fun, actually, when I retired. I worked as media for 5 years, so I'm kind of into what you just did, the way you did it. I looked for the really athletic guy. First of all, I had a very large role. I'm the one that went to the University of Missouri to scout Brad Smith. He was a quarterback. Of course, the entire campus was crying when he left because everybody loved him. He was such a dynamic guy and player. But he had enough speed, but he was so athletic that I knew in the right system he could be very successful. So, I had all different types of guys that were all different realms of success. What I believed is that we had the absolute best scheme that anybody ever had. What we did was the best. Everybody stole it, but it really worked. It just worked. I had a way. Plus, I learned very easily that I had a timeout before every play. I learned that in 1982. So I drew everything. So instead of having 2 or 3 kickoff returns, I'd have 12. So I'd stand in the huddle and show you the drawing. And nobody made a mistake, and we knew exactly how to do it. And we practiced it at a very high level. That's why the Saints brought me in 2017. Sean Payton, as he told me, I didn't even know him. I didn't know one person in the building. And he said, Mike, we think we're really good, but our special teams are not very good. This is halfway through the year. He said, right now, we're ranked 31st. When I left, they were first. So I figured it out. And I loved it down there. I had a ball. Matter of fact, the last time we were in Carolina was really a good football game down there. I loved coming to your place. That was a great stadium, and I had great memories there as a coach. But anyway, those are the things that you look for. I had a major role in those guys, and I looked for that athletic guy, that guy that was really an athlete and was smart and could do different things. And it worked. It just worked. We made it work.
We're talking with Mike Westhoff, a 32-year experienced head coach, a special teams coach in the NFL. And his new book, Figure It Out, My 32-Year Journey While Revolutionizing Pro Football's Special Teams, is out and available anywhere books are sold. And I have to ask you this, in 32 years, I'd imagine you've seen some pretty dumb stuff. What would you say is like the dumbest thing that you've seen either an organization do or a head coach do or a GM or whatever? Because as a special teams guy, I don't know how much say you have in those decisions.
I had a tremendous amount of say everywhere I was. Everywhere I was, I had a tremendous amount. I did a lot of it. Even when I was at the Saints, and Sean Payton completely runs that football team. He's a brilliant coach. But those fakes we ran, I called him. He didn't call them. He didn't even know we had them on. He trusted me, and they worked. I never failed. This stuff worked. So that stuff, you really had to be a part of. I'll give you 2 that I can think of right off the top of my head. One took place in a game that I thought was a great football game, this year's playoff game between Buffalo and Kansas City. At the end of the game, after Buffalo scores, you've got to play the ball and take time off the clock. You can't kick a touchback. You cannot. You can't do it. If they do that, Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. They go to the next game. That's the way it would have worked. That was a big mistake. The other one was the fact that the league have a viable way to take that play, that crazy non-call in the championship game between the New Orleans Saints and the Rams in 2018 correctly, because everybody knew that was a foul. The next day,
Absolutely.
they fined that guy. They fined him $25,000 for helmet to helmet, and there was no penalty.
Right.
You know, and that's a Super Bowl trip for us. To me, that was the worst missed call in not the NFL, officiating history. I'll argue that more than anybody, because what that meant to us. We'd have got the ball on the 2-yard line. We're going to win the game.
Right.
And then we go to the Super Bowl, and we were a really good team. We were a good football team. You know, Drew Brees was really smoking. Michael Thomas was playing, of course, and everything you threw at him, he caught. Our defense had gotten better, and I had the number 1 ranked unit in the league. Come on, we were the real deal. So those are 2 good ones that I just gave you. I think they're both pretty good. They were big mistakes.
One thing that we've been debating, and since you brought him up, I want to ask you the question. We haven't seen Michael Thomas on the field for a while. He's been injured. He's coming back this year. What is your take on him? Do you think that he could be back to that level that he was in 2018 with the Saints?
I can't really comment on when I wasn't there, and I don't know, because Mike, you know, my last year was 2018, and I retired again. That was enough for me. And Mike was tremendous. You know, he led the league, and his work ethic was off the charts. I mean, he would practice. I remember coming in early before practice and watching him indoors, and he'd be working on sideline catches, and he'd be catching the ball as with a guy throwing it to him, with a guy with a boxing glove punching him in the face on a stick. And he'd catch 50. That's what he would add, a guy with a boxing glove on a stick. Okay,
that's crazy.
He's standing on the sideline. And the guy would throw the ball that he had to keep his 2 feet in and reach up and catch the ball. And the guy would poke him with the boxing glove in the chest and the chin. You know, he's not trying to kill him, of course. You know, we're not being nuts here. And he had to catch 50 one way, and then he'd turn around and catch 50 the other way before he finished. That's how hard I watched this guy work. So to have him all of a sudden become, you know, a non-entity, that's so discouraging. And I don't know all the ramifications as to why. I can only comment on the Mike Thomas that I knew. And that was really a first-class young man. And for me, it's very disappointing that he's not there. Hopefully he'll get himself straightened out.
I've always said one of the great accolades that you can have on a resume is who wants to work with you. And you have one of the most legendary resumes that you can possibly have, working for Don Shula, Jimmy Johnson, Sean Payton, who you just mentioned, and Rex Ryan, who to me is one of the best defensive minds of the last 20 years. Speak on the differences with different coaches. You got a Rex Ryan that's heavily defensive, Sean Payton that's heavily offensive. How did that change your role, and how did it change your day-to-day?
It did not change mine one bit, either one. Both of them gave me complete autonomy with my job. Both of them, they were great with me. Rex, either Sean didn't either. You know, neither one of them even asked me what I was doing. They were great. Now Sean is a really knowledgeable football guy, and he would know every little thing that you were doing. You know, he would like to sit and talk with me once in a while, but really, no, he trusted me and let me do whatever I wanted to do. Rex really did the same thing. The guy that I was more involved with on a day-to-day basis when I first got started was Don Shula, because Don coached everybody. And he was, as I wrote in my book, Don Shula was not the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. He was the head coach of the National Football League, because I believe that's exactly what he was. And but then after a while, even then I earned his trust, and then he pretty much let me kind of do whatever I wanted. And I had a great relationship with him. Working with him and for him is a thrill of a lifetime if you're in a business like I was in, because he did things so correctly and with such a dignity, and he taught. You know, he had to teach everything with the rules. You better know the rules now when you put something in, or he's gonna look at you. You know, your heart would stop when he started looking at you, because he was tough and he knew football, and he was so much. Once I got to know him, and I earned my way, which, trust me, it takes a while. Then it was then it was a thrill of a lifetime. Before that, it used to be I'd be scared to death. He'd be coming down the hall, I'd be trying to hide. But this was a great experience. And then with Jimmy, I caught Jimmy at kind of the end of his career. At the end of it, he had come back to Miami, and Jimmy was he was great in the draft. That was one of his specialties. Not only with sometimes who he would pick, but the way he procured information from everyone was really very, very, very brilliant. He was good at that, and then did a nice job putting it together. Jimmy on game day did a good job of managing the game. Jimmy was not a game planner. I don't know if he got involved with anybody. He never got involved with me. He let me do anything, and he was good with personnel. Jimmy was great. He would. I had an all-star team with him. I had all the guys looked like they were same size. They were all 6'1", and they all weighed about 205 pounds, and they could all run. I had a whole army of them, and so with him that was a lot of fun to be a special teams coach with Jimmy, because he would completely trust you to do what you were doing, and really gave you some weapons to use. He was good about that. So I had those guys, and Sean Payton is the best on-the-field teacher I've ever seen in my 32-year career. I would watch him come out and teach a play a certain way, and I would see it exactly that way on Sunday. Exactly. So he's the real deal as a coach. He'll go back in my opinion, he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Westhoff joining us in the Sportsocracy. Figure It Out is the name of the book. My 32-year journey while revolutionizing pro football's special teams. We appreciate you taking out the time for us, Mike. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. No, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun in Carolina. There are great sports fans there. I loved my years that I would come in there. In fact, I never lost there. I hate to tell you that, but I didn't over my career. And I think they'll enjoy the book. I hope people go get it, because I'm very, very proud of it.
For me, as somebody that doesn't read very often, ever since I found out you were putting out a book, I have been waiting with bated breath for the day that I could get my hands on a copy, and I'm looking forward to reading it.
Thank you. And feel free to call me if there's something that you question or don't like. I'll be happy to talk to you. I really would. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Mike Westhoff again. Figure It Out, my 32-year journey while revolutionizing pro football's special teams. You can get it right now wherever books are sold. You can get the digital Kindle version. You can get the hard copy if you're still old school like I am. I still have to have a hard copy book in front of me.
And we'll have a link to all of those on our website right here after the show.
Mike, thank you very much.
Okay, guys. Nice talking to you. I enjoyed it. You guys were great.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
And continuing to the Blue Ridge Parkway, Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic volume busy and steady, especially on the westbound side. Smoky Park Highway moving well, Patton Avenue problem-free. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road delays as well. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound, drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents, and 2-pocket paper folders are just 25 cents each. In-store only. Offer ends 7/16. Limit 30. Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples.
Let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. It is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC, and I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to fat loss. 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. That was fun.
That was fun.
I wasn't sure what to expect from, old grizzled special teams coach, but, he did not disappoint.
Oh, he's fantastic. He kind of has we have a similarity of, if you really want to know what somebody thinks, he will 100% tell you what he thinks. And I love that.
No doubt. And there is apparently some great parts of the book where he just goes on about the Mark Sanchez extension in New York, the Tim Tebow thing. So I would encourage you to go check it out. I'm going to check it out, figure it out. My 32-year journey while revolutionizing pro football's special teams is the book by Mike Westhoff. And that was a pleasure having him on the program here. I had to run out though during the commercial break and get my fix, my afternoon snack from PhD Weight Loss. The PhD Weight Loss program has helped me lose over 75 pounds in just over 30 weeks. It has basically revolutionized the weight loss industry and revolutionized my entire life. I have never been this healthy. I'm getting ready to turn 40 in a few weeks, and I've never been as healthy as an adult as I am today, thanks to the healthy program that Dr. Ashley Lucas has for us at PhD Weight Loss.
I am a little younger, and I was a little lighter than Tank. However, I had incurred a lot of health problems that were limiting my mobility. I love to play golf. I've always been an athletic guy, but I'd gotten so heavy, back issues, knee issues, and I can't emphasize this enough, the effect it had on my sleep. Losing the weight with PhD has allowed me to sleep like a baby. I'm more active than I've ever been, and it's all thanks to the plan and program at PhD Weight Loss.
Oh, and their chocolate peanut butter shake, that's my favorite thing. The chocolate peanut butter shake is like my little slice of heaven each and every day when I get to have it. It's just it's a program that, like I said, has worked wonders for me, and I feel like it could do the same for you. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. Find out how you can change your nutrition, change your life, and feel better than you ever have before. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. The Open Championship is at the most historic golf course in all of the world. It is the birthplace of golf. I think if I've heard that once, I've heard it 800 times today of people talking about St. Andrews and the Open Championship. It's the last major of the season. And I got to ask you, Jeremy, who you like? Who is your favorite going into this week?
Well, there are a lot of things to take in. One thing about St. Andrews is the weather is usually an issue.
Not this week, apparently.
It's not going to be this week. And this is a course that if the weather's not an issue, you can see some ridiculously high scores. And this could be one of those weeks, which makes me think it's probably not going to be a Matt Fitzpatrick or somebody like that. I'm looking at the higher end guys. I really like Jordan Spieth this week. I think he is going to be not necessarily as chalky, but he makes a lot of sense for this golf course. Then you get into the Scotty Schefflers, Xander Schauffele, who has won 3 times this year on tour, and so you have to look at him. What will be interesting to me is the LIV guys. So the last 2 times we've been to St. Andrews, Louis Oosthuizen won it the first time and was in a playoff the second time. So that's another guy that I'm looking at going, I know you haven't been in the greatest form, and there's been a lot of instability, but this is a course that he absolutely loves. And there have been some high-end guys. Dustin Johnson fits into that as well, of a lot of instability with the LIV thing, but this course fits you. There have been a lot that have talked about this course doesn't really fit me. And so this is going to be a fun weekend. The weather's going to be perfect. And when things like that happen, the way they get back at the golfer to try to keep scores low, the bunkers become bigger. Not in that they're physically bigger, but they are bigger because it's the roll is more, you'll get more rollout.
Right.
It makes it more challenging, even if it doesn't affect the scoring.
I think it was Scotty Scheffler I was reading comments from earlier today, and he was talking about how he's trying to get a feel for the course, and places where he thought it was going to be soft, it was hard, and places where he thought it was going to be hard, it was soft, and just trying to figure out where the bounces are and all of that. Do you think Scotty is one of the is he a top contender for you to win this
He's
week?
a contender. He's not necessarily one that I think is going to win it. And for what he was talking about, you got to realize they did a Legends tournament event thing on Monday. 82-year-old Lee Trevino put one over the hotel on 17. So this is a different golf course, and it's going to be fun to watch. One of the good things for me is I don't always love watching European weather just batter these guys. This is a historic golf course. You're going to know a lot of the elements. They're going to look very familiar, and you're going to see the best in the world be the best in the world. In terms of Scotty, I would say he's just on the outside of favorite to me. A lot of people are going to lean on him because he's been in such good form all year. Probably not one of my favorites, but could I see him winning it? Absolutely.
Will you have him in a DraftKings lineup?
I will not, but I'm leaning a lot on Jordan Spieth. I'm leaning a lot on Xander Schauffele. And then you get to Rory. Rory's the one that's interesting to me because he has never anytime you've come into a major like this and looked at him as, I would say he's one of the 3 most likely to win this tournament. Virtually every time that's ever been the case, he's let down in some shape, form, or fashion. He might have finished 3rd, but he didn't win it. And so he will be an interesting guy to watch over the course of the weekend.
Well, like you said, Louis Oosthuizen, he's won at St. Andrews, and he was in a playoff the last time at St. Andrews. I think this could be it. I think this might be what spurs the rest of this Tour 54 LIV controversy. We're waiting for one of these guys to win a major. And if it does, how is that going to change the game? We'll talk about that coming up next, right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. Again, Bavard Road northbound is slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue, no backups. Check the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Some banks can make it complicated to redeem credit card rewards. But with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Doug. Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Valvoline Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $36.99. Got an older vehicle? Try Valvoline Full Synthetic High Mileage options. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. It's time to get weird. And look, I am a person who I am very OCD about certain things. I just and it's saying people's names right, and it's spelling people's names right. It's just always been a thing with me because when I was growing up, I mentioned this a couple of days ago. When I was growing up, everybody called me Robbie, and I was Robbie. And when people would spell my name with a Y, I would get so upset and like physically or just agitated because that's not how you spell my name. Do it right. And now I think I'm damaged a little bit because I've just learned that after all of these years, I have been doing it wrong when it comes to Scottie Pippen. In fact, we all have. And every website and every reference to him in history has gotten it wrong. Apparently, he's Scottie with a Y, like his son is, like his dad is. But apparently at the NBA draft, they spelled it Scottie. And we just went, screw you. We don't care how you spell it.
This came out from Cassidy Hobarth, who was a sideline reporter for ESPN for the Summer League, and she asked Scottie Jr., why do you spell your name that way when your dad spells it I-E? And his response was, well, my dad's name's with a Y as well. He just changed it to an I-E, but we're both actually the same.
That's insane. You've been living a lie all of these years. Just because people are too lazy. That's craziness. That's like Robbie Anderson switching from and maybe he's been IE all along. And we've been doing it wrong with the Y. I don't know. I just noticed on his Twitter account last week that he had changed it. They were referring to him as ROBBY in the story, yet his Twitter account says BBIE. And apparently, Scotty is spelled with a Y, but we've been doing it with the IE ever since. And now I feel like, now that I know that I've been doing something wrong for 30 years, it's trying to come to grips with that.
Something else people do wrong is put themselves in danger to take stupid social media pictures. And a Maryland man filmed this out the hard way at Mount Vesuvius. Philip Carroll and two of his family members decided to hike to the top of the over 4,000-foot high volcano over the weekend. When they finally made it to the top, Carroll decided to take out his phone and start taking selfies, as most 23-year-olds would. Here's the problem with that. One, you're at the top of a volcano. Can you not just live in the moment? Do we have to have a stupid selfie of everything you do?
Yeah, because everybody's got to see the important thing that I did.
Well, unfortunately for him, his cell phone slipped out of his hand and fell into the crater. And what did he do when he dropped the phone? He tried to grab it. And what happened when he tried to grab it? He fell in as well.
Oh.
Thankfully, he caught himself. And rescuers had to lower in a rope to carry him out, because had he gone to the bottom, it is 300 meters to the bottom of Mount Vesuvius. Do you know how far that is?
300 meters.
That is 984 feet. I don't think it would have gone your way.
No.
All for a stupid picture to put on your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything that drives me more crazy than stupid criminals, it's stupid people doing things because, well, I'll get a bunch of likes on TikTok and Facebook and all those things. Well, and you could die. So, I think Darwin said something about that.
Right. Yep.
You can infer what you want to there.
Culling the herd. That's all you need to know.
Almost died taking a social media picture.
That's insane. All right, so Tour 54, one of my favorite topics now in the golf world, and apparently it's not going away. There's still so many questions with it. In fact, yesterday we didn't even get to this on the program, talking about the DOJ is now investigating the PGA after they told all the LIV guys that you can't be in our tournaments if you're going to be in the live tournaments.
Yeah, and now they're finding out why that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The Department of Justice has opened an investigation into the PGA Tour. Do you remember when I told you that was coming?
Yes, I do.
There are certain times that I feel like if you have a lawyer who has an IQ above, I don't know, the coffee cup I'm drinking out of, they should go, hey, maybe you should shut up. Because everything you're doing right now is completely illegal. And when you get busted for this, and you will, it is not going to go your way. Here's what you have to prove to bust up a monopoly. You have to prove that you have such an overwhelming hold on what it is that you do that no one can get away from you. The NFL's never been broken up on that because they don't preclude you from doing anything. If you're the 53rd player on the practice squad, you can go be a superstar in the USFL, and we won't do anything about it. That's where people fall out of line with a monopoly. You can monopolize your industry. You cannot prevent people from doing things when you have that much of a hold on what you do, from doing things to better themselves and preventing them from coming back. Does that not sound exactly like what the PGA is doing?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. That means you're going to go to court and you're going to get absolutely eviscerated by their lawyers. And so and now you've got Tiger Woods at the Open talking about these guys and they've diminished the game and why would you ever work on your game?
And they've turned their backs on the PGA.
The PGA turned its back on you a long time ago.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, how many times have you seen Louis Oosthuizen in a PGA Tour commercial? Oh, you don't.
Mm-mm.
You know why? Because he doesn't benefit them. Because he doesn't sell Nike golf clubs and Titleist hats and keep the sponsors happy. So, Tiger, Mr. I make $1 bajillion. Why am I shocked that you don't understand why somebody else would do this?
Right.
And the more you talk, the more you're actually hurting the brand. I thought Rory McIlroy had come around to the smart guy section, and then he could not unwind what he said fast enough. If you'll leave this alone, it won't go away because they have money. They have copious amounts of money. They're not just going to disintegrate. This is not going to go the way of the XFL or the USFL where they run out of money. However, do you not think Dustin Johnson's a more marketable entity now because of LIV?
I would think so.
Do you not think Louis Oosthuizen is a more marketable entity right now because of LIV?
Sure.
Could I not do this with about 40 other guys? Patrick Reed was an also-ran on the PGA Tour. Now people are clamoring to talk to him. Why? Because this tour made him interesting. And the fact that these PGA guys cannot see the forest for the trees on this is one of the most dumbfoundingly stupid things I've ever seen. And the fact that they didn't invite Greg Norman to the Champions events of the Open, you deserve what you get. And I'll be honest with you, I hope it happens.
Yeah.
It's already cost you a ton of money because you've had to bump up the purse on some of these low-level tournaments that nobody cares about. I also love the self-entitlement of Tiger Woods. I would never do this. You physically can't do this.
Right.
There are 8 events. To do this and get the money, you have to play in all of them. You can't play in 8 events. And that's fine. You're the legend of this game. You can do whatever you want to. But trying to rake these guys over hot coals that you make more a day than they've made in their lifetime is one of the most disingenuous things that I think I've ever seen an athlete do. And Tiger had every ability to just go, you know what? It doesn't affect me. Just ask somebody else. I don't care. I've printed money because of the PGA. Of course I'm beholden to them. They have literally ridden me to relevance. Because the PGA was not what it is today before Tiger Woods.
Right.
Chase Koepka doesn't quite have that same loving, fuzzy feeling about the PGA Tour.
No, he doesn't.
And now what I feel like they have done, and they're going to accidentally benefit from it. 2 of my favorites to win this tournament are LIV guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lay golf fan. You're not like me. Right. I watched the John Deere Classic and the Zurich Open and things like that.
Right, I couldn't care less.
You watch the majors. Are you more or less likely to watch on Sunday morning, it'll be morning-ish, if Dustin Johnson is in contention here?
1,000% more likely.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because I want to see it. Because I think this is going to be the breaking point, like I said in the tease to this segment. This will be the breaking point. If Dustin Johnson or Louis Oosthuizen or one of these guys that plays on this Tour 54, the Live Tour, that's gonna change everything. I think that will get everybody on board to, or at least get us further in the conversation of these LIV guys. They need to be getting world golf points for this. Because that's one of the things that Tiger talked about today, was these guys are putting on the line. They may never be able to play in the majors again.
And here would be my question. Who does that hurt more? This is one of those things that it sounds really good when it comes out of a Tiger's mouth or it comes out of a Rory McIlroy's mouth of, well, they may not be able to play in the majors. Okay, who's that affect more, them or you?
I would say them.
Does it, though? All
yeah,
right,
because we're still going to watch the majors even if Louis Oosthuizen is not in it.
I'm not disputing that.
Okay.
What I'm disputing is what it hurts is the John Deere Classic. Mm-hmm. That event that Tiger was never playing. That event that Phil was never playing. And so you've lost these secondary stars. And you've made this to where it's either them or us. And so now you don't have a Patrick Reed that would be the biggest name in some of these smaller tournaments, or a Dustin Johnson or a Louis Oosthuizen. And you've never really shown the greatest ability to develop them. I'll give you an example. If you had to rank the 5 most marketable golfers on the PGA Tour right now, who are they?
Oh gosh, I would imagine you still have Tiger.
Tiger's won by leaps and bounds.
Right. Rory?
Nope, you missed one.
I would say
Phil's still 2.
Is he really?
Phil's still 2 at 52 years old.
Okay.
Live guy. Already lost him. Oh, he can't play in our tournaments because he's a live guy.
Right.
I'll give you Rory
Scotty?
at 3. Not even close. Scotty Scheffler's not in the top 10.
Really?
Ask yourself this question. Does your mom know who Scotty Scheffler is?
No.
Does your wife know who Scotty Scheffler is?
No.
Does she know who Rory McIlroy is?
Yeah,
maybe. There you go.
Maybe.
You're not getting a no doubt no on beyond 3 golfers.
Right.
So the question is, who can actually bridge that gap and make it palatable to where if you're flipping through the channels on a Sunday afternoon, who can be on that leaderboard that you care about? I got news for you. I love JT Poston. I do. I think he's a wonderful golfer. He's a local guy. They're going to have to promote him to make him one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
There are about 100 guys like that on this tour. I've never seen an ability for the tour to make these guys a thing. You make Rory a thing because Rory won a lot. You made Phil a thing because Phil won a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the guy that doesn't win a lot that you've ever made a thing, that's just competitive. Oh, Louis Oosthuizen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy that you kind of made a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you never made him really a thing. And so when somebody jumped at the opportunity to pay him a ton of money, they were all about it because that gets me the golf fan. Louis Oosthuizen gives me reputability to the golf fan, which that's what they want. They don't care about stealing you.
Right.
They know they can't touch the Masters and the U.S. Open and the Open Championship and the PGA. Where they want to get you is, we're doing an event in Portland. You're playing an event that is won by JT Poston, who, yes, is a nice guy, but he does not sell on a national scale. Who do you think won the weekend? They did. Now you're coming to your biggest tournament, and every one of your golfers can't shut up about them. All you're doing is giving them free publicity. You're giving them reputability by living rent-free in your head. And there's no win. There's no end game here where the PGA wins in this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel like golf purists like me have you can't see the forest for the trees. You think this is bad because of where the money comes from. Okay, then explain to me why you're okay literally watching 2 tournaments a year that are sponsored by the exact same people.
Right.
You're lying to yourself because it sounds good. It's not true. Let's say it is true. What's your end game? What's the end game? The end game is eventually one of these guys are going to wind up in a major, they're going to win it, and you're going to look like morons.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the perfect scenario, though.
For the PGA, you're probably not wrong. It's also the perfect scenario for the
I don't
LIV.
think it's perfect for the. I don't think it's perfect for the PGA. I think it's perfect for the cause. I mean, if you're supporting the 2 factions, have one of these LIV guys win. And have them win the Open Championship and then see what happens.
And there's a way that this can go well for both. It's not what you just said. After the break, I'll tell you what it is.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays between Fanning Bridge Road and approaching Hendersonville Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slowing. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Schultz Road is slow. Brevard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Some banks can make it complicated to redeem credit card rewards. But with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Choosing Sides, F1, a podcast about But what are we doing here, Lily?
Well, you're in the right place, Michael. I'm Lily Herman, Formula One expert.
And I'm Michael Costa, comedian, and I'm just going to be honest here, complete F1 newbie.
On this inaugural season of Choosing Sides, we're tackling the historic and controversial sport of Formula One race car driving.
Who are these drivers? Rich kid? Daddy issues.
Daddy issues galore. Listen to Choosing Sides F1 on the iHeartRadio app.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy. Let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
All right, so Jeremy, lay it on us here. How is this beneficial for both the LIV and the PGA?
If you come to Sunday and you have, let's say, Rory. I'll just use names of guys you know.
Okay.
Let's say it's Rory, Scotty Scheffler, and Justin Thomas. And the other 2 in the top 5 are Dustin Johnson and Louis Oosthuizen. If they win, you ever going to get that pop again? The answer is no. The answer is no. If you're the PGA, and nobody in that entire entity would ever tell you what I'm getting ready to say, they're praying that Dustin Johnson is on that leaderboard on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lay fan that would maybe they check on it, you're going to be on your television watching to see if this happens.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you want to see how ugly it would get when they have to hand that trophy to Dustin Johnson. That's the worst thing that could happen to either one of them. Because now, if you're the PGA, you lose it in your majors. Oh, we've seen it happen. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep kicking this can down the road if they're the big, bad, evil wolf, so long as one of them doesn't win. Because you'll do this until somebody gets handed one of those trophies or has that green jacket put on them or whatever the case may be. If you're the live guys, I want that. I want those guys to be there. I want that lay fan to make the connection with them of they're the outsider and they're the one that you don't want to take on because it increases the likelihood that you're going to watch them on my tour. But if they win, well, I mean, now we've proven we're equal to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that lay fan goes away. I would argue if one of them wins, you have to come to some kind of resolution within the next handful of weeks. If not, it's going to hemorrhage you both.
Mm-hmm.
Sponsors are already looking at some of these tournaments going, no. We don't want to touch this on either side. We'll just pull out. MasterCard just pulled off of 2 LIV guys. The quiet thing, MasterCard's a huge sponsor of the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
Let those ratings dip.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep.
You wind up having these tournaments where you don't have ready-made stars. Because what the PGA doesn't seem to understand is more guys are going to keep doing this. And it's going to be more guys whose name you know. So what would get you to not watch on Sunday? If it's, I don't know, let me just throw out 5 random names off the top of my head. Graham McDowell and I can't even think of guys that aren't on the tour now. Mediocre guys that aren't on the tour.
Right.
Ricky Fowler has more notoriety than the vast majority of golfers on the tour. He can't even make these tournaments anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a mid-tier guy, why do I have any faith that the PGA can bump me up? All I have to do is throw my name in the ring to the LIV, and all of a sudden I'm a name. I'm a name that people will remember. And what I just did kind of proves that because the first name I said is on the LIV Tour.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The Sports Center update coming up in just a few moments. We'll have the daily draft coming up at the top of the hour. We will be drafting running backs today. We drafted quarterbacks yesterday, and do we know who's getting the first pick?
Huzzah!
Oh, no.
'Tis I.
No.
It was close, though. That's the first close one we've had.
Wow, 59 to 41%. Jeremy gets the first round or the number one pick in the upcoming daily draft next here in the Ingles studio.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays between Fanning Bridge Road and approaching Hendersonville Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slowing. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Brevard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Less than a week after his trade to Carolina, Baker Mayfield says he's looking forward to competing for the Panthers' starting quarterback job with Sam Darnold. Also said he's not expecting to be a backup and that Darnold has that same mentality. Mayfield added that ultimately, though, he will fill whatever role is expected of him with the Panthers. Tiger Woods today blasted the players who've bolted for the rivals' Saudi-backed Live Golf Tour. Woods with his sharpest criticism yet, ripping those who have left the PGA Tour.
To play there, I disagree with it. I think that what they've done is they've turned their back on what has allowed them to get to this position. What these players are doing for guaranteed money, what is the incentive to practice? What is the incentive to go out there and earn it in the dirt?
Tiger Woods, golf ball manufacturer Bridgestone and Bryson DeChambeau agreed to end their sponsorship relationship. The news comes after DeChambeau decided to join the Live Tour. Red Sox lefty Chris Sale slated to make his return from a fracture in his ribcage and make his season debut tonight against the Rays. Boston and Tampa Bay currently occupying 2 of the 3 AL wildcard spots.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Now, I know you're all just waiting for the daily draft. You just can't wait to hear what running backs Jeremy and I are going to select, but we have to stop the show. We have to stop it down give you the biggest breaking deal in the NFL today.
This is landmark stuff, seismic. It will change the dynamic in the NFL.
The New England Patriots have made a trade with the Chicago Bears. Well, they will send N'Keal Harry, former first-round draft pick, to the Chicago Bears to help out Justin Fields and that god-awful passing game. And in return, the New England Patriots will get a 7th-round draft pick.
A conditional 7th-round draft pick. Which means he most likely will have to make the roster for them to get anything. I don't value that to be very likely.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of
here's the thing. If you were going to go anywhere, I'm pretty sure the Chicago Bears are about one more of their free agent acquisitions getting arrested for calling me to play wide receiver.
We got Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones, and who?
Velus Jones, who's barely can be constituted as a wide receiver right now because he's so raw. I like the kid, but yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to play a fun game with you.
Okay.
N'Keal Harry for his career has 57 receptions, 598 yards.
Okay.
In the 2021 season, the 63rd most receiving yards in the league belonged to receiver X, who had 58 catches and 597 yards. Who is that player?
The 63rd best wide receiver in the NFL.
63rd most yards in the league. In 1 year, had the exact same stat line N'Keal Harry has for his career. Name that receiver.
Oh, my gosh. James Washington.
You are too low. James Washington is below this guy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sammy Watkins?
Now you are too high.
Okay.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Hey, I like Donovan
His
Peoples-Jones.
career is what Donovan Peoples-Jones did in 14 games last year.
Right.
This is Chicago's solution to, we're good now. Well, we're great. We're awesome.
Hey, Ian Rappaport on Twitter put it out there that this is a solid upside move for Chicago.
What is the upside?
Right.
N'Keal Harry can reach things off tall shelves? Like, is that the upside? He's terrible.
It's a solid upside move for Chicago while New England moves on with a strong group itself. A strong group. Okay. I mean, if that's strong in today's NFL, then we've got a problem.
Yeah, I think half the teams in the league would look at that and go, if their receiving core is strong, then what is ours?
Right.
And here would be my qualm with that. N'Keal Harry couldn't make it work in New England with steady as they come Mac Jones and the greatest coach that ever lived. What do you think he's going to do in Chicago? That's where decent players go to die.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like saying, I've worked at Apple for as long as I can, and the instability is just not there. And so I'm going to go work for the Clintons. As just
the Clintons.
Was the biggest train wreck I could think of.
I was gonna say Casio.
Radio Shack. There it is.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go be the night manager at Radio Shack.
Which has 3 stores left.
Do they have 3 stores?
I don't know. There's still a Blockbuster out there somewhere, I think.
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah. So there's got to be a Radio Shack somewhere. God awful. What a waste of it. Just your time. Just your total time. Like the time that it took to negotiate that deal, you could have been scraping gum off the bleachers. That's how profitable this transaction is going to be for either of these teams.
Yes. You could have been spot cleaning the rug in your office because it will be more valuable to you long term than N'Keal Harry.
All right, it is daily draft time, and look, the group has spoken. Jeremy,
hold on. In our comments, Dark Soldier said there are 400 Radio Shacks still open. Where in the world is there a Radio Shack?
Seriously?
That's to be honest with you, that's more breaking news than N'Keal Harry getting traded to the Bears.
Wow.
Where's the Where's the nearest Radio Shack? Oh, my God, there's one in Tennessee. It's only open on Wednesdays. Sorry. Yikes.
Nice. Well, here's one that says...
It's okay. Chicago Bears receivers also only open on Wednesdays. But yeah!
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. It says there's a Radio Shack in Newland, which is like out toward Boone.
I don't know where. Like I was about to say, I don't know where
like
Newland
middle
is.
of nowhere. And it's called the Radio Shack of Newland. And it closes soon.
Okay, Bill Buttigieg has officially gotten into the Hall of Fame of my favorite people to comment on the show. His comment, don't trash my team, Beard. I don't talk about the historically trash Greene mom smashers. You win. You win for the day.
Nice. Very nice. All right, it is the Sportsocracy. You're on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. You can hear us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. See us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, and you can go back and forth with everybody in the chat, or you can just throw out random things that are going to make us laugh, and we'll talk about it on the air.
It's the way the show works.
Exactly. That's exactly how this show works.
This is ADHD Sports Talk, and we have zero riddling.
Right. We are the Democratic Republic of Sports, and so we let you decide who gets the number one pick in the daily draft. Today's daily draft focused on running backs, like yesterday's was about quarterbacks. First hour of the program, we talked about the top 10 list of running backs that came out from the NFL, and so it's only right that we have our own little fantasy draft here. Jeremy, you have won the poll since yesterday's social media reaction to our franchise quarterback lists was so close. It was close
very
to call.
Close. The poll was very close. I feel like yesterday's the first time we've done one of these where one of us didn't just get eviscerated.
Pretty much. So you have the number one pick, and I don't think there's any question as to who you're taking number one overall in the running back draft.
That honor will be bestowed upon Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor.
There's no other choice at number one.
And it makes you angry, which is like a double entendre for me.
It does, because I have been in love with Jonathan Taylor since he was a freshman at Wisconsin. There was even a time where my wife said, you should learn something about Jonathan Taylor. And I went, I don't want to learn anything about like who he is as a person, because he might end up being a jackwagon. And I don't want it to ruin my on-the-field love of Jonathan Taylor. Turns out he's just as good of a human being as he is a running back. So I did learn some things about him. And yes, I love Jonathan Taylor, and he is the number one go-to running back in the NFL now.
And he is on my team.
And congratulations for that. So with my 2 picks, we work this like a fantasy snake draft, so I get 2 picks in a row here. My first pick is going to be Alvin Kamara. He is just a do-everything back in this league, and I've always been a fan, despite the fact that he went to Tennessee. I've always been a fan of Alvin Kamara.
I do love that you had to get the Tennessee dig in there.
Of course I did.
Do you just like inciting them? You used to have a thing about inciting Tennessee Volunteer fans?
I'm a Georgia fan.
That's a good point.
Yep, pretty much.
That's a good point. Now, you're also talking to the guy that routinely says to get into Florida, you have to have a pulse and an ability to write your name. So I guess I get it.
Indeed. My second pick of the running back draft, I think it's going to be Dalvin Cook. There's no other way I could go with that. I mean, I got one guy in mind, but I think there's a chance that he might come back.
You just did that to hurt me. That's the only reason you did that. Because there are 4 Florida State Seminoles in the entire league at this point. I can't even have the best one.
Dalvin Cook is number 2 on my list when it comes to all-around running backs in the NFL. Alvin Kamara is 1. Dalvin Cook is 2. I'm just not sold on Jonathan Taylor's catching ability. I know he can do it, but he's not asked to do it often. We see it very often. from the other two.
That makes it a little more difficult for me because I thought one of mine was guaranteed. All right, so I know I'm taking one guy here because, well, okay, I have to. So my first selection here is going to be Derrick Henry.
Okay.
I can't let him slip back to you. Sometimes you have to take preventative measures, and that is what I have done. And even with what I said, he's still, without a doubt, the scariest running back in the NFL between the tackles.
No doubt.
So now I have a decision because there are two that I really want, and I know one of them is not going to come back to me.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, do I want the other more? Take a quick break. Answer that on the other side.
Save our traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow. 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound, light delays between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. In Madison County near Marshall, US 70 near US 25 Business near the Madison County Fairgrounds. An incident, expect delays. 40 eastbound in McDowell County at mile marker 71. An accident, the right shoulder closed here. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go approaching Mills Gap Road. And on Brevard Road northbound, heavy delays between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the North Carolina Arboretum. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is your one-stop travel prep destination. Right now, when you purchase any travel service like passport photos, you can get 20% off your purchase. In-store only. Offer ends 7/31. See staples.com/travel for details and exclusions. Get travel ready at Staples, the working and learning store.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Running your car's air conditioning is the main contributor to reduced fuel economy in hot weather. Improve your fuel economy in hot weather by putting the windows down at lower speeds and using the AC with windows up at highway speeds. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/earth.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runner, you're cleared for takeoff from Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeart Media, Asheville.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles,
See you later, Dad.
all
Bye.
the ingredients for family.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling
is the root. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And yes, it is just a little over 40 minutes before I get to go drive my new car. I've been looking forward to this all day long, of just being able to get into my Rogue and hit the road. And it's all thanks to Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. They hooked me up. The Durango exploded, broke in half, basically, over the weekend.
And less than 36 hours after that broke in half, you were the proud owner of a Rogue.
Yes.
No muss, no fuss, no hassle.
No.
Just everything you wanted, just brought right to you. And not only will they do that for you, they want to do the same for the listeners of this show. They will give you $250 extra on your trade just for mentioning that you heard about them right here on the Sportsocracy. Go visit them today, 629 Brevard Road in Asheville.
They gave me way more money for my trade-in than I thought it was worth, and then actually it was worth.
Of which, I'll be honest with you, I had an offer for your car too. It was this Coke Zero that I'm currently consuming.
But I showed up at the dealership. I told them what my what my budget was, what I wanted to spend on a monthly payment, and they went, that one right there. And I went, yep, that's the one. And it all got done in very short order. So go check them out, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. We continue with the daily draft. We're drafting running backs. Who are you going to start your franchise with here, Jeremy Greene?
So through the break, I played out the rest of the draft. And I have written on this here piece of paper in front of me, I think it does not matter what I do, you're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take out the chances of you being a homer, and I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey. Because I feel like that's the one that you would have sniped me on, and that little smile on your face tells me I think I'm correct.
He would have been on the list, yes.
Would you have taken him over the two that you were going to take now?
No.
I didn't think so. And when we get to the other side, I'm going to ask if you would have taken that guy that I'd take over the two that you were going to have taken. And I still think the answer would have been no.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey, yes. Last year, so I pulled it up. I've got all of these things that when we go through and make these lists, I saved them all. And so I went and almost one calendar year to the day, we did a top 40 running backs list for 2021. It was July the 1st of last year. And Christian McCaffrey was number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hurt again.
And here's the thing. Christian McCaffrey is so much more dynamic than any other running back left that I don't care. The high side is so good.
Mm-hmm.
This position is so deep. I think having that high end of a player wins this for me.
Okay.
Plus, I'm almost 1,000% sure I know what two players you're getting ready to say, and neither one of them are who I wanted.
And neither one of them are who you wanted. All right. Well, that leads me back around to my third choice in the running back draft, and I am going to take Austin Eckler, who is probably on your list.
We'll see.
We'll see. Austin Eckler, he is the do-everything back for the Los Angeles Chargers. Ever since I saw in the Rona year, when they did the L.A. Rams and the Chargers on Hard Knocks, and I saw Austin Eckler out there just outperforming everyone. Of course, it was in shorts and just shoulder pads and stuff, but I liked him before that. I fell in love with him after I saw the things that he was physically capable of on a football field, jumping over like 18 dummies stacked on top of each other. He's got great hands. He's got speed. The only thing he doesn't have is that power back feature, and I really don't care in today's day and age.
Pick still to you.
My next pick is going to be Najee Harris. I went off the board on you a little bit. Oh, yeah. He thought I was going Nick Chubb.
I thought your homer wouldn't possibly allow you to not do that.
I have to go with Najee Harris because he's a guy that I undersold last year coming into the league. I talked all the time about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their offensive line and how Najee wasn't going to have that good of a year. He had a dog-do offensive line in front of him last year and still had 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. And the most important part is there were even times where he was getting caught in the backfield, never fumbled. And I love that about a running back. The fact that ball security is the number one thing that I want in a running back. And so especially if we're taking this from the sense of we're starting franchises, I want the 24-year-old kid who has just knocked it out of the park in his first year.
Touche. I greatly thought you were going to do the homer thing and take your Georgia Bulldog. Now, we'll say, there were 3 guys on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I fully did not expect you to take Najee Harris, so I'll just flip and take the one that you didn't take.
All right.
With my 4th selection, I will take Nick Chubb. I am dumbfounded that the number 2 rusher in the NFL that missed 3 games last year is still here with the 8th selection in this. And that makes me feel very good that I believe I have won this.
Still have a pick to go, though.
I do. And for me, now I'm looking at I have what I value to be 4 of the best running backs in this league.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody on your team. I mean, I'm upset about Kamara. I'm upset about Cook. I'm upset about Najee, but I'm fine. And so now I can just take a luxury pick. Maybe be a little bit of a homer.
Okay.
And take the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL last year, one Mr. Joe Mixon.
Nice. Old popsicle sticks Mixon.
That's fine. My team gets hurt a lot, but by God, when we're on the field, we're real good.
Mm-hmm. The injury thing is what concerns me with Joe Mixon. And it has since he first got into the league. I realize he hasn't been as banged up in the last couple of years as he was at the first 2 years of the league, first 3 years in the league. But it's still, like you said, I see injuries more as a trend.
It's funny you said that way.
Mm-hmm.
He missed 10 games in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, how many games he missed in his career?
3.
4.
Okay.
It's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with that. But 1,000-yard rusher every year other than his rookie year, besides that hurt year, I'm fine. Yep. I love Joe Mixon. I've always loved Joe Mixon, and he will be 26 this year.
Okay. All right, my 5th and final pick in the daily draft of running backs here in the Sportsocracy. I got to do it. I can't not do it because I talk about this guy all the time. I'm absolutely in love with him, and it just drives me absolutely crazy that his coaches won't give him the number 1 tote on his team. It's Antonio Gibson. I've loved the guy since he was in Washington or since he was in Memphis, and I think he's got all the makings of a great franchise running back in this league. The problem is, the coaches are smarter than I am, so maybe I'm just being dumb.
He's built like a basketball player. He has that Kerryon Johnson problem of guys that are built that way tend to have injury problems, so they have just stacked up a slew of running backs. He's very dynamic with the ball in his hands, but they don't feel like he can sustain that no-doubt number 1 role, and I get it. I will tell you, there was no path that I was taking Antonio Gibson.
Oh, I knew there wasn't. I knew there was no path.
Now,
but now I'm really interested in the UDFA portion of this because if we say the same guy's name, neither one of us gets him. So,
and that makes me wonder. Of what you're going to do here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to kinetically figure out if I know you as well as I think I do.
Okay.
Because I think I know what you're going to do.
Okay.
And I'm fine with it. And I'm going to. All right, let's do it.
All right. We count down 3, 2, 1, and then both of us have to say the name. 3, 2, 1.
Javonte Williams.
Yes! Oh, nice!
Yes! That's exactly what I knew you were going to do.
Nice.
I knew you were going to do that. Your homerism of the North Carolina Tar Heel did not weigh out. Your cheapity of the currently better running back was still on the board.
Yep.
Secret time? I was going to say whatever name right there that I thought you weren't going to say.
Right.
It didn't matter because I view them the exact same.
The exact same.
I don't think there's any discrepancy. I just wanted the sixth one.
Nice. So the teams that we have now, the draft classes. Jeremy's is Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Javonte Williams. I have Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, and Aaron Jones. Feel pretty solid about my list.
I don't think either one of us has a loser, but I feel like I beat you.
Well, I feel like I have the edge over you in games played, so I feel good about that.
I feel like I have the edge over you in the three biggest fan bases we have. I have all three of the running backs. And I have a North Carolina Tar Heel.
That's just the cheap way to go about it.
If I was doing the social media thing of what's going to get more likes,
he's totally.
I think I'm winning this by a lot.
Yeah, totally pandering to the crowd here.
And I didn't do that on purpose, I promise. But I did kind of laugh when I felt very sure you were taking Aaron Jones there at the end.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up next, Don't Do Crimes. And hey, while we're talking about crimes, let's talk about the Washington Commanders and what their outlook for the upcoming season is.
At Sports Tank ESPN.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Maher from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow. 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slow east of Bavard Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Bavard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow approaching Mills Gap Road. In the Lester area, New Lester Highway moving towards Turkey Creek Road heading towards Patton Avenue. Expect delays. In Madison County near Marshall, US 70 near US 25 Business near the Madison County Fairgrounds, an incident causing delays. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Grab your golf clubs and head out to Kenmure Country Club for the 2022 Mike Tweed Memorial Rocket Open. It's on Monday, July 25th with a 12:30 shotgun start. Your team entry includes 2 mulligans per player, a long drive contest, closest to the pin, and a par 3 challenge. Box lunches provided as well. To get registered, email BigJoeGreen7@gmail.com. That's Big Joe Green with an E, 7@gmail.com. Or call 828-243-8076. And get ready for a great day on the links with the Reynolds Rockets.
Let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. It is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC, and I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to fat loss. 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
And now's the time on the Sportsocracy when we tell you the ever-important phrase that you should always live by.
Don't do crimes!
Don't do crimes! It seems like a very simple principle, but every day we have copious amounts of stories to choose from about dumb criminals.
I always say this is like don't hit trees on a golf course. It's a very basic tenet of the game of golf. Don't do crimes. Very simple.
Sometimes you slice and end up hitting a tree. Authorities in Pennsylvania had an 18-hour standoff on Thursday night, July the 7th. Troopers were dispatched to a residence that's located in the Kimmel Township to serve an extradition warrant for a 40-year-old man. Inside the home was a 40-year-old man, 42-year-old woman, 2 teenagers, and an 83-year-old woman. So the funny part about this story is that, the guy that they were after, apparently, he didn't want to give up. He didn't want to come out. He says afterwards it was a family decision, that they all decided that it was going to be a good idea for him not to turn himself in on the extradition warrant, which I feel like the family probably needs an education, and I'm sure got one at the end of this. However, the funny part of this story is the 83-year-old woman who finally could not deal with the bright lights coming through her bedroom, and she came out of the house. They took her into custody, and when she was interviewed by police, she told the investigators that she saw the bright lights at first, and they didn't really bother her, but then they were keeping her up because she tried to go back to sleep because what was happening was, quote, none of my business. To me, that's hilarious. And then the guy afterwards says, yeah, we made a family decision not to surrender, and I really didn't care that y'all were throwing flashbangs and stuff into the house while the kids were there. First off, not Father of the Year. Second off, Granny needs her sleep. And I feel like the only reason she actually came out was because maybe she thought if they took her to county, she might be able to get a good night's sleep. It's none of my business.
My story takes place in Russia. There has been a tremendous investment in the Indian Premier League in cricket. And oddly enough, it's been centered in Russia.
Okay.
There's been a little syndicate of gamblers that have popped up in Russia to wager and run books on Indian Premier League cricket. There's only one problem with that. The games were only telecast on YouTube. And so they were casting the games in bars and other different places. There's a problem with that. The Indian Premier League has a television deal. It plays there.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that they couldn't find these games is because they weren't really the games. This was an elaborate setup where they had literally rented a field. They bought fake jerseys, put people in them, and conned gamblers in Russia that this was really happening. It was so elaborate that they had umpires on the field that were telling the players when to score and when not to score based on the action that was happening in the book. It goes one step further than that. Since this happened in India, and it was basically these are RICO crimes. If you do something and something leads to something else, the ball rolls downhill.
Right.
It's illegal to gamble in India. So not only did they get arrested, there were 4 conspirators and apparently a bunch of people that didn't actually know that they were involved in this. They were not only arrested on the scam, they were arrested for gambling as well.
Oh, no.
Because you can't do that. That would be like us renting out the field at Radio Ranch and simulcasting an NFL game between the New York Gents and the Philadelphia Pigeons. And you gamble on that. We got a sports book. We're running it here. It was so over the top that they were piping in fake crowd noise to make it more believable.
Oh, my gosh.
I got news for you. You're never going to convince me that something shot in some random field is high-level athletics.
Right.
Don't do crimes.
Thought you did you do have a cricket guy, though. You told me you did.
Oh, I have a cricket guy. So don't worry. What are you, a cop?
What are you, a cop?
Calm down, all
right? Let's talk about the Washington Commanders.
Hold on. We have two super chats that came in during Don't Do Crimes. The first one was from Frank and Cleary. He said, thanks for the third hour, guys. You can thank our friends at Ingles and Fred Anderson Nissan for that. They are totally the reason that we're able to do this. And Saquon Ben Malik said in the comments, sports dies in July and you guys thrive. Well, we appreciate the kind words, and it's because we're creative gents. And then Dark Soul just said, just because, and go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Very good. You want to get into the chat with us, you have to go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat. You could join the House of Reprehensibles while you are there so you can get in on extra content, more extra content going to be coming out for House of Reprehensibles members only throughout, or as we near and throughout football season.
So we're going to relaunch Reprehensible Takes on Thursday. There is apparently a gateway that we didn't know about. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But I'm going to use our day off tomorrow to figure that out, and we will have Reprehensible Takes starting on Thursday.
There we go.
So if you were looking for that yesterday and couldn't find it, we apologize. It's a learning process.
Programming note, yes, we will not be here tomorrow. Braves baseball will be heard here on ESPN Asheville, and I will be spending my afternoon tooling around in my new car from Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. I'm just rubbing it in because every time I say it, Jeremy gets this little twinge in the back of his mind, like, okay, now I have to go buy a new car.
Yeah,
and yes, you do.
Yeah, it's probably not going to take long. I don't like the fact you drive a newer car.
Let's talk about the Washington Commanders. Training camps are coming right around the corner. They all, what? Some of them kick off next week.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, we're here. Oh, it is time.
So we're doing each and every team. We're down to the Washington Commanders at this point. And the Commanders, obviously, the big shake-up move over the offseason was bringing in Carson Wentz. And I feel like this is – part of me wants to say that this is a make or break for Ron Rivera. If there's not improvement in this team this year, last year, the first part of the season, the defense was a horrible disappointment. The offense wasn't much better. Now that you've moved on from Taylor Heineke and you've brought in Carson Wentz as kind of this, just a lottery ticket, hoping that he can reclaim some of his former Philadelphia Eagle magic. I mean, heck, even if he's as good as he was last year with the Indianapolis Colts, I feel like that's a step up in quarterback play for this team.
Funny you should mention that, because that was the number one thing I wanted to ask you in this segment. Last year, Taylor Heineke was the highest-rated quarterback for the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
According to QBR.
Okay.
His QBR was a 39.9. Where was Carson Wentz on that list?
What was his quarterback rating?
Mm-hmm. Where did he rank in the NFL amongst quarterback rating?
16?
9.
9?
He was 9.
Holy
He was behind
smokes.
only Ryan Tannehill, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
If Carson Wentz is the player he was in Indianapolis, they are a threat to win this division, and they are certainly the second best team in this division to me. Now, the fear is what happens if he gets hurt, and now we have to revert to Taylor Heineke, and you have to go down that fun rabbit hole.
Right.
That's my fear with Carson Wentz. It's not who he is on the field. He can be that high-level game manager. He had a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many quarterbacks in the league can say that? That they were 4-to-1.
4.
It's him and one other.
Aaron.
37-4. His was drastically higher than that.
Right.
And Kirk Cousins. I forgot one.
Oh, okay.
He was rated lower.
So
which
there was
means you were woof. You were bad at times. With that few interceptions, you were bad.
Right.
If he's that guy, now that you've got Terry McLaurin in, Curtis Samuel has to be more than what you saw of him last year.
You would think.
I don't think the Brandon Sheriff thing is that big of a step back. I really don't. I told you I didn't love it when Jacksonville signed him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player, but he's constantly hurt.
Right.
And then when you have players like that, I said this with the Dolphins. When you have a player that's that talented, but they get hurt so often, it constantly sends your line into this Rubik's Cube of resetting it of who plays where because somebody invariably has to move, and you never get a cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
I look at what they're trotting out now. Do they have a player to the level of Brandon Sheriff on the inside of the line?
I don't think so.
The answer is no. Just safely say no. I like Andrew Norwell, and I think playing with Ron Rivera again, you will see more of him in Carolina versus what you saw some of him in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that many fears with the line. Do I think it's top 5 in the league? No. Is it serviceable? Yeah. Especially when you look at the fact you get Logan Thomas back. He's a great poor man's Darren Waller because he can stretch fields, he's fast, and he's tall. Then you look at the Jahan Dotson thing. He can play on the outside. He's a burner that you have to account for. What does that affect more than anything else? When you have two guys between McLaurin and McLaurin and Jahan Dotson that you have to worry about, opens up running lanes for Antonio Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I think the offense is going to be drastically better. And the offense being drastically better puts the defense in better positions. This is still the same defense that we were talking about being one of the most talented young teams in the NFL a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad a year ago because they got put in terrible situations constantly. What offense are you really terrified of in the NFC East? Are you terrified of the New York Giants?
No.
Are you terrified of the Philadelphia Eagles?
No.
You're slightly more scared.
Yeah.
Are you terrified of the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
Now look down their schedule. How many terrifying offenses do you see?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that many. Washington is to me a great value if you're looking for places to put doubloons because they're being cast out with the lepers of the NFC. They're the sandwich team. In terms of odds to win the NFC, I know that's over the top. This is just a point of comparison.
Okay.
Every team in the NFC is either 21-1 or less or 67-1 or higher, except the Washington Commanders, who are 41-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're a sandwich tier in and of themselves because bettors don't know what to do with them. The 6 behind them are the Bears, Seahawks, Giants, Falcons, Panthers, and Lions. There's nothing good going on with the vast majority of those teams.
Right.
You could give me a bajillion to 1 odds on all 6 of the teams I just said. I wouldn't take it because all I'm doing is setting money on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel great about Washington's outlook to really make noise, but I do trust Ron Rivera to a point. I've always thought he was overrated as a coach, but that doesn't change the fact he's still a top 10-ish coach in this league. He's the best coach in that division by 5 miles. I can't lump in Brian Daboll. I've never seen what he does.
Okay.
How many coordinators have we seen become coaches and they couldn't coach to save their lives?
Very true.
And that would be my fear.
Do you think he's better than McCarthy?
I think it's not even close. He's better than McCarthy.
Okay.
Then again, I think McCarthy's a bottom 10 coach in this league.
And then Sirianni, obviously, he's got his issues.
Well, Sirianni, it's a small sample size.
Mm-hmm.
It took him half a year to figure out, well, maybe I shouldn't be letting Jalen Hurts throw it 40 times a game. So, yeah, I haven't forgotten that. And do I think Philadelphia wins this division? Absolutely, I do. I just don't think Washington is as far behind as a lot of people want to make them out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be really honest, I think they're better than Dallas.
I think it all starts with the quarterback play. Carson Wentz, obviously, he's got the capability of, as Jeremy said, according to QBR, he was a top 10 quarterback last year in the NFL. he made some of the decisions at the end of games that you wouldn't want to see.
No, and if you really think about that, he did that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last game of the season against Jacksonville, at home against Tennessee, and Baltimore in the game that they had absolutely no reason to have lost, and they lost it because Frank Reich wouldn't stop letting Carson Wentz throw the ball.
Right.
2 of those are not on him. There was a very bad decision to throw against the Titans. They ran it back for a touchdown, ball game over because they just couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I would put the other 2 losses on Frank Reich more than I would Carson Wentz. He stays healthy. I don't feel that bad about. I don't feel that bad about where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't trust him to stay healthy. In the comments, Stephen Tao said they should have pursued Jimmy G. I agree with you. The discrepancy in talent between those 2 quarterbacks is not as vast as we make it out to be. It's really not.
No,
Jimmy G
not.
and Carson Wentz are very close to each other. They both have injury issues. There's just something. There's a stigma to Carson Wentz that people don't view him as the player that he is. They take the bad and forget all the good.
Mm-hmm. It's because the bad was really bad.
It's because the bad was bad, bad.
Oh, yeah. But think about the really bad year that he had after the injury in Philadelphia. Well, it was because he had nobody blocking for him. His entire offensive line was dead, and he hasn't had a good weapon, or didn't at the time, to play. I mean, and that's when Alshon Jeffrey was still just the ghost of Christmas past. He was on the team, but he never saw the field, and he was supposed to be the superstar wide receiver that they went out and got.
I'm not going to tell you Washington's the best value on the board. I think they might be the best value in the NFC.
What is their over-under on wins? Do you remember?
7.5.
7.5? That still feels high
to
me. That still feels high to me. I couldn't take anything.
But why does that feel high?
I don't know, because
Washington is at 7. Washington's 7.5.
Yeah, in the end, it's still a team that I like some of their pieces. I mean, obviously, I love Antonio Gibson. I love the defensive front for them. I have questions about the secondary. I don't really see it all as all that good.
All right, let me. Here's where, and now that I'm looking at this even deeper than I did before, how many games do they win the division?
3.
All right, so you're in at 3.
Sure.
All right, let me give you 5 games they play outside of the division.
Okay.
Jacksonville in Washington, at Detroit, at Chicago, at Houston, Atlanta Falcons. That's the 5 worst teams in the NFL.
Okay.
That is the 5 worst teams in the NFL. All you have to do is hold serve against teams that you should blow out because you're not in their ballpark. Then win 3 games in the division. Now, outside of that, winning games outside of the division is not going to be easy.
Right.
Because you've got a lot. There's a lot of Tennessee, Indianapolis, San Francisco, Cleveland. I don't love you in any of those. I think they've got the line set right. 7.5 is correct. I just think there is a path to where this division is yet again not great. And they wind up being that team that we look at the end of the year and go, well, they went 9-8 and won the division because everybody else let us down. I've seen the Eagles let me down. I've seen the Cowboys let me down. I am not falling for it again with the Cowboys.
All right, I
think things have gone the right way in Philadelphia to a point of I can't tell you I'm betting on them to win the division. But you could spend your money in worse places.
Before we take a break and get your I'm mad of the day, I have to ask you this question, Jeremy. Do you think that Ron Rivera is on a hot seat, lukewarm seat, or he's solid?
I will say it is tepid, which is one step below lukewarm.
Okay.
He's the stabilizing force in this organization. He's the only member of this brain trust that I trust. And I think that buys you a little more platitude. If this was a more well-run organization, I would say he was probably on a more lukewarm seat. Daniel Snyder has to look around and go, that's the only person that anybody in this league trusts. The rest of us are a sideshow at best. So I think that buys him a little bit. But, I mean, if it's a bad year, it will get loud.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up next, Jeremy will be mad.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway, 26 eastbound slow between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road delays. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Brevard Road northbound stop and go between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the Arboretum. Sweeten Creek Road north end southbound approaching Mills Gap Road slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. In Madison County near Marshall, US 70, near US 25 Business, an incident causing delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is your one-stop travel prep destination. Right now, when you purchase any travel service like passport photos, you can get 20% off your purchase. In-store only. Offer ends 7/31. See staples.com/travel for details and exclusions. Get travel ready at Staples, the working and learning store.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
iHeartRadio, let's go!
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com. Sponsored by The Hartford. With insurance designed for your small business, the Bucks got your back. Go to iHeartRadio.com/The Hartford to learn how to nominate your favorite small business owner for a small business grant and a bonus chance to win a trip to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Did you know audio memory lasts 6 times longer than visual memory? That's why businesses advertise with iHeartMedia, the #1 audio company in the country. Reach consumers with radio, podcasting, streaming, and more. Make your business a household name and visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO. Grow your reach, grow your business. Call iHeartMedia today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO.
DQ presents the sound of a summer double play. It's the sound of drumstick pieces and peanuts combined with world-famous soft serve to make 2 all-star treats. The Drumstick with Peanuts Blizzard and new Caramel Drumstick with Peanuts Blizzard. Grab one today or get it delivered at DQ.com. Official treat of MLB. DQ. Happy tastes good.
iHeartRadio wants to send you to Brooklyn to see 2 of the biggest comedians on the planet, Chris Rock and Kevin Hart, at their Rock Hard Only Headliners Allowed tour at Barkley Center. We'll fly you there, put you up in a hotel, get your premium seats to the show, plus some merch from Chris and Kevin, and access to the pre-show VIP lounge for you and a guest. To win, just listen to 24/7 comedy on the free iHeartRadio app, and you'll automatically be entered. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com. Chris Rock and Kevin Hart, live in Brooklyn. From iHeartRadio.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Dirty Perky shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark back flat and Morton
Let the hate flow through you.
We don't talk politics on this show, and there's a reason. But every once in a while, somebody will chime in with something that is so unbelievably stupid that I can't help but comment on it. And today, that person is Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James. The trailer for the latest episode of his talk show, The Shop Uninterrupted, dropped this morning, and in it, he discussed Brittany Griner. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Brittany Griner has been wrongfully detained in Russia for having hash oil in her bag. That is something you cannot do in Russia, and they will not let her out of the country. His quote was, now how can she feel like America has her back? I would be feeling like, do I even want to go back to America? Let me give you a little civics lesson since you don't seem to understand this. They're asking for a person in return whose name is the Merchant of Death for a basketball player. Do I like that she's detained? No, I do not. And do I think it is an unbelievable violation of probably every treaty we've ever signed? Yes, I do. Do I think it's responsible to give up someone known as the Merchant of Death because she carried weed in her bag in Russia? No. And it's disingenuous to say that. This is the age we live in, and people say things because it's their opinion and no one fact checks it. It would be one thing if the government was just sitting on their hands, and trust me, I love making jokes about the government. But this is a disingenuous line that goes out to a slew of people that don't really understand the politics of what you're saying. I'm mad.
And let's be honest, trading the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner would be probably the worst trade we've seen since, I don't know, the Minnesota Timberwolves gave up 5 draft picks for Rudy Gobert.
It's just disingenuous. There's more things that go into this than you let on. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the biggest problems we have in this country. I said we don't talk politics. I'm going to take this shot to say it while I can. You can say anything you want to. If it's disingenuous and misleading when you have 10 million followers, all it does is add to the tumult and strife. It doesn't actually help anything.
This is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We will be back with you on Tuesday or Thursday. Yeah, Tuesday would be a hell of a break. We'll be back with you on Thursday. Braves baseball tomorrow afternoon here on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
An isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out into this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy with patchy fog overnight as the low drops to 67. Rain will increase on Thursday. There will be scattered showers, maybe with a few strong thunderstorms into the afternoon with a high near 80. And then looking ahead to Thursday and Friday, partly to mostly cloudy each day with scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and early evening hours. Highs on Thursday and Friday should reach the low 80s. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound light delays between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound slowing between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. On Brevard Road, northbound between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the North Carolina Arboretum, traffic is slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.